And so these fishermen, they dragged me out of the water, and I'd got like 6 or 7 bullet holes in my back, and I'd been shot. But I couldn't remember any of this. I had no clue what was happening. Anyway, they took me to the local port. It was somewhere in the south of France. They kind of got me fixed up, and I just had no idea what I was going to do. So I just kind of wandered around the city a little bit, and then I needed somewhere to sleep, so I laid down on a park bench, and all of a sudden these two police officers came out of nowhere, and they were just trying to harass me, and that's a topic that we see in the world today quite a lot. Anyway, it turns out I had these amazing martial arts skills, and it goes on to find that I've been a secret agent for the past few years under a project called Treadstone, and I'm a secret super assassin flying around the world and doing all kinds of stuff. So yeah, that's my life this week.
Blenheim giving you a lot of shit. Apparently, it's too easy. I didn't realize. I didn't realize
he's probably a fan.
Yeah, it was never supposed to be a game, but should it be? Should it be a game?
Well, see who can guess the
guess
film.
yeah guess what film Jay is talking about. It could be a new weekly tradition.
Maybe. So PR Carty. So every week, what I do is I kind of like the shtick is that we do a cold open, and to me telling Brian about my week, and it's usually some sort of film or TV show or something like that. This week it was The Bourne Identity. Emir Bledin had it straight away from as soon as I mentioned that I'd been pulled out of the water. So yeah.
Shout out to Not G10, who not only subscribes at tier 3. But he's subscribed for 33 months and is still on a 33 streak.
A streak of 33 months.
33 month streak at tier 3 subs for 33 months. Oh my god.
Crazy. That is crazy.
Gio, one of the true OGs. He was there at the beginning.
Yeah, he's been around a long time. We've also got Salvin, Depleted Vespine, Scrubby Sean in chat as well, Katana Mech as well.
Salvin's?
Yeah, Salvin's here.
I thought Salvin was too cool to watch us now.
Probably. I need to actually have a really long chat with him at some point soon, because things are moving and I need to speak to Salvin. So Salvin, keep your eye on your DMs tomorrow, because I will be messaging you.
Yeah, I don't have anything important to send you, Salvin, but keep your eyes on your DMs anyways. Maybe I'll send you something really, really important, if you know what I'm saying.
Ooh, very nice.
Orange Josh says Bourne Identity is the best Bond movie. I think you'll find that they're different franchises, but okay, we'll go with it.
Different? What do you mean they're different franchises? Are they really? Is it not all one series?
Sure, Brian. If you want to believe that they're all one series, you believe.
I'm not too familiar with them. I have seen a couple of them. I think I don't think I've seen them all. But are they supposed to tie into each other?
No, the Bourne Identity and the Bond films are nothing to do with each other. The Bourne Identity was written by Robert Ludlum.
Oh, you said Bond. Oh. No, I meant the Bourne series.
Bond. Oh, the Bourne series.
All
of the Bourne films.
All the Bourne series are...
Bond. Yeah, Bond and James Bond are very different. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yes. That I didn't know.
Yeah.
I was fooled by your accent. I thought you were talking about the Bourne Identity. Or the Bourne series.
Sure. All of the Bourne films tie in together, yeah. And the TV show as well now. Treadstone, the TV show.
There's a TV show? Wow.
There's a TV show called Treadstone, which is based on the Bourne film. I haven't seen the TV show. I have seen all the films, but I haven't seen the TV show. Salvin says, are you missing out on the hunt, Top Pack? The big hunt. The big hunt for what? I feel like this is leading us into something.
Yeah.
I feel like I fall into a trap here by asking it.
Very nice.
It sounds very trap-like, and obviously, you can never trust Salvin, right? That guy's just completely he's just there to make our lives miserable, I'm sure. Check Keycult Discord, just have a look. Uh-oh. I'm assuming that's what you're doing now, Jay. What's going on?
Yeah, number one revision 2 pre-order raffle link. The raffle will not be live until 10. If those are done before it's possible, we'll have 10. I don't know I don't know. I'm looking in the Keycult Discord. I can see everyone is in voice chat over there. There's like 35 people in voice chat or something. But yeah, I've just got up from a nap. I have no idea what's going on. I can't see anything in the announcements that relate directly to it.
I went in saying there's an ARG. Is that why we have like no viewers right now? Everyone's over there.
That would probably be the reason. Yeah.
That would make sense. So what's the ARG thing for then? Is it like a giveaway or a raffle sort of thing? Is it like a cryptography sort of thing? Those are always fun too. I don't know. I don't know. But
An ARG is an alternate reality game. So it's basically kind of like a story that people make up, and you can bring real world elements in to try and solve it. It's good fun. It's good fun.
Yeah.
I did a couple for the Destiny. Two streamers got very obscure code tablets, and we are trying to solve it. I've not even heard about this, Salvin. I have not heard anything about it. I'm really sorry.
That's really cool. I really like doing that kind of stuff too. It's a shame we're not involved, sadly, but that's really cool. I'll have to check that out after the show today. But sadly, we can't put our show on halt just for that. So let's go ahead and I guess we're still a couple minutes early, so we'll wait just a couple more minutes. Just a bit of a pre-show, guys, as usual. But then we'll be going live in just a few minutes, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Nathan and April go. That makes sense because they're sponsored by Keycap. That makes a ton of sense. Why it was done years ago.
Weird how that works, right?
Yeah, that's how these things work. But no, I wasn't aware, Salvin. I will try and check it out tomorrow because I'll be going to sleep straight after this stream, and then I'll check it out tomorrow. Yeah. See what's going on.
That sounds awesome, though. I'm always a big fan of stuff like that.
Yeah, the worry with a lot of these kind of ARGs is what if they're made too hard so people can't solve them?
Tasty.
It's very difficult to get that balance right, I
think. Yeah. Keycap probably knows what they're doing, though. I would imagine.
Reminds me of the old cicada hunts, 3310. Do you remember that one, Brian? That was a big thing.
No,
a few years ago.
No, I didn't. I remember doing the. Did you ever do any of the Key Collective like cryptography?
Oh, some of the really early stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a really big fan of that. That was super cool.
Yeah, I remember following along. I don't remember the details or anything, but I do remember following along. Yeah.
Some of them were really difficult, honestly. Like a lot of people would like partner up with other people to try to win, and, like still fail. Like me, I failed. Feels bad. Milk, thank you so much for the 500 bits, man. It's very kind of you.
Thank you. Very, very kind of you. Thank you, dude.
That's right. He also subbed earlier. Tier 1.
Nice.
2 months says, hello, Top Clack and Top Clack fans. Hello to you, too. All right. Cicada is interesting to look back on. What was that?
So Cicada was kind of like an ARG that was produced by unknown people for the internet effectively as a whole, and they were trying to search for, as far as the story went, like-minded individuals to help them with their motives with the manifesto, whatever it was, and there was kind of like a whole series of puzzles to follow, and some people followed it, some people were successful, and they maybe got into the group, I don't know, and they kind of came back a couple of years later and did something similar, but like these were like worldwide puzzles, like there were physical things in the world that you had to go and scan and look at, and had codes to have a look at, and all sorts of stuff, like referenced really obscure books, and there was a ton of stuff to it. If anyone's interested in it, you can go watch a video by a guy called Lemino, and he's on YouTube, and he does a whole great video, goes really in depth into it, so definitely check that out.
Nice. Shout out to Rob27 Shred for that tier 1 sub, man. It says, what up, Top Clack crew?
Thanks, man.
Not much, man. Not much. But yes, thank you so much for that. We're just out here doing, man. We're just existing on a Thursday, doing keyboard stuff. Jay is sipping a very delightful looking coffee.
It is a good coffee, actually. It's a really good coffee.
Yeah, I'm always so jealous. Every time you take a sip and I see like the foam that you have at the top, I'm like, man, that looks so delicious.
Yeah, I'm getting all right at doing the coffees these days. It's hard to show you guys because I have to tip it up too far, but yeah.
Ooh, very
and A1A, thank you very much for the 10 tier 1 gifts. Man, we do not deserve you guys, viewers. We genuinely do.
We honestly do not. Thank you so much, A1A. That is so kind of you.
Ooh,
thank you, man. Thank you.
Now you get to hear the very nice.
Yeah, it's good though, isn't it? It's good.
It's good. It is absolutely fantastic. Jay loves a bit of crema.
Very nice.
Indeed, he does.
Yeah, I do.
All right, is it 6 yet? It is 6. All right, I'm gonna roll the intro, and we are gonna go ahead and start this show up.
Ooh, very nice.
That's what I was thinking. Very nice. Ooh.
I think
You spent way too much time, dude.
I didn't do anything. Like he recorded them all in one take as well.
That's true.
Yeah, Rudy's a great guy. I sent him a key set and everything to thank him for it, which he's got now.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
All right, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's episode of Top Clack. I am your host, Quakums, joined as usual by my lovely, delicious coffee-drinking co-host, Jay. And we're going to talk to you about some keyboards today. As usual, we have a pretty decently sized news doc for you today, but not too over the top, thankfully. So, yeah, how are you doing today, Jay?
I'm good. I'm tired. It's been a long week of moving everything around in the warehouse, getting ready for some new things, and taking some time out and stuff like that as well. But I've not had to do the day job all week, which is good. I've been able to devote my entire week to keyboard stuff, which hasn't been as fun as I would have hoped, because it's been the kind of like labor type stuff rather than actual fun keyboard stuff. But hey, it's been useful, and it means that I'm now in a much better position going forward as well. So yeah, it's good. And I've got some great new coffee as well. Go check out Green Machine Coffee, guys, because this stuff is delicious, especially if you're in the UK. But yeah, it's really good.
Green Machine, huh? Okay.
Yeah, Green Machine Coffee. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So before we get into our news doc, of course, we do have a quick announcement here. Jay and I felt it was fairly necessary at this time and day to announce that, there's been a lot of things going on in the world. Obviously, you guys are probably well aware of a lot of the things going on in the world. Obviously, we've been fighting the COVID-19 situation, which has been kind of a nightmare, especially for the U.S. Feels bad, man. But, lately in the U.S., it's just gotten even worse. There's been, so many political issues and so many movements lately, so many injustices. I mean, we'll call them what they are. Yeah. There's been a lot of injustices happening. And, it's worth pointing out and mentioning that, Top Clack does stand behind the Black Lives Matter movement. We're all in favor of that. We want justice for all. We want equality for all. We want life to be good and fair and fun for everyone. Because why shouldn't it be? Why shouldn't it be? So, we're not going to sit here and talk about it forever because this is a keyboard show.
No.
But just know that we stand on the side of justice.
We do, absolutely, and our hearts go out to George Floyd and family and everyone else who's suffered injustices, as Brian said, across the US and across the world. It's not right, and we just want to show some solidarity and say our hearts go out to you guys and everyone else out there. It's not just Black Lives Matter; all lives matter. But right now, Black lives are the ones that need a little bit of help, and we want to be at the forefront of that.
Yeah. Yep. So definitely something to keep at the forefront of your guys' mentals, everyone. So, keep that in mind. The world is a crazy place, and, sometimes change is required to help humanity. And that's what we should be doing, because without humanity, we're just not even there. There's just nothing. So
exactly.
If we don't look out for our own, who will? Who will?
Yep, exactly. And as IP9932CD has displayed as well, it is Pride Month as well, so we need to be celebrating that too. So lots of things going on, guys. Whatever your political affiliations, your thoughts, your feelings, or anything else, just please be safe, be kind to each other, and just try and be good to each other as well. Because that's all we need to do to get along in this world. Just be good to each other. We can have different opinions and still be friends, guys. Don't have to fall out over different opinions. Just remember that and keep that in mind.
That's right. Hashtag Black Lives Matter, guys. All right. We ready to talk about some keyboards? Shall we? That's what we do on this show, right? Do we talk about keyboards?
We do. Yeah, we do talk about keyboards. Yeah.
Just a couple of them. Speaking of keyboards, starting us off this week is the group buy for the... how is this supposed to be said? I know you were joking last week when you said KKINGKKONG, but that's actually what I've been calling it, because I don't know what it's supposed to be called. I'm assuming... I think, is it just King Kong? It's just King Kong.
Maybe. I don't know, but KKINGKKONG just is funny to say, I guess, and it's kind of... I don't know, it's fun.
KKINGKKONG is super fun to say. I will completely admit that, and I've been saying that just because I don't know what it's supposed to be called. Like when you spell it like that, what do you expect from people, I guess? But we can presume that it's supposed to be King Kong at least. But
Yeah, I mean, it's spelled differently in different parts of it. So if you go
Tasty.
down, so if you check the title, it's KKINGKKONG, and then if you look later on, it's KKINGKKONG, and then I think it's Kong. Sorry, it's King Kokong somewhere else later on. So I think it does change a little bit. I'm not quite sure which it's supposed to be. I assume it's just supposed to be King Kong, but I like to call it King Kokong because it's fun to say.
Yes, I completely agree. So we did talk about this. I think it was actually on our last episode. So this went from interest check to group buy quite quickly, rather. So just a couple specs for you real quick. This is going to be an aluminum housing, aluminum, brass, polycarbonate, and carbon fiber plate options, so quite a few there. 7-degree angle, standard or wind keyless top. There's going to be quite a few colors, which I'm not going to list, but I'll show you guys in just a moment. The PCB is going to support QMK and Type-C, and similar to the DGL TKL, which was the most recent group buy from this user, this also comes with springs. So he likes to send springs with his group buys, apparently. And that's kind of cool as well. So it is going to be a bottom mount board, and the starting price is going to be $240. So how do you feel about the design on this one? I know we talked about this recently, but
was it last week or the week before? Yeah,
it was within the last week. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the side profile. I like that they're kind of highlighting the seam, and they're not trying to hide it, and they're not trying to get it perfectly flush. It's a much more honest representation, and it's easier to do, and they're not shying away from that fact. I'm not a fan of the skinny little blockers that you can see that are, I think, 0.125U on the pink version of the board, although that pink is stunning. But it's a 66 key layout. You know, a lot of people like these. 660 layout. A lot of people like these layouts. I have a couple of boards like this, the Volcano and a few others. I think it's fine. The rear of the board has got kind of a swooping curve to it. I'm not a fan of that. I think it would have looked better if you just keep it flush. It would have matched the front of the board better. It would match the side profile better. These are just small things, small inconsistencies in my mind, but you may or may not agree, and that's fine either way.
Yeah, I think it looks fine. I totally agree with you on the seam. I like the idea of kind of almost drawing attention to it as opposed to trying to pretend it doesn't exist. Totally agree with you on the blockers. The really skinny ones, the 0.25 ones in this picture, just look a little too out of place to me, I gotta admit. And one of the things I also dislike, but I totally understand, is the universal plate. But at that price and the obvious target audience for this product, I think that it's probably the universal plate's probably the right play, even though it's not entirely for me. But at the $240 starting price, you can't really complain too much, and the group buy is going to be closing on June 15th, so you still have a little bit of time to get in on it. But yeah, there you go, guys. Even a little typing test in the thread. Love seeing that. All right. Let's head over to the Atlas, because this is something that I've been looking forward to for a little while. So this is the group buy for the Atlas, a very interesting custom keyboard. We don't usually get a whole lot of like super high-end, really nice 5x12, or I guess Prionic layout, depending on what you want to call it, type custom keyboards. But the Atlas, a nice breath of fresh air. So aluminum housing, you're going to have acrylic LED slots like you can see here pictured. You're also going to have a brass bottom lid of sorts, which is kind of just that bottom cover. A 2-degree angle, which is incredibly gentle. I think the idea here is it's mostly just to support the pen rail, which, it makes sense. But very, very gentle angle, something to consider. Hot swap QMK PCB. Brass plate is standard, but PC, polycarbonate rather, is going to be an option. Colors are going to be E-white, navy, and gray, and there's going to be, I think, 150 units total, 100 of them being on Canon keys, and 50 of them being on mykeyboard.eu, so somewhat limited. How do you feel about the ortholinear custom life, Jay?
I mean, ortholinear is not for me. I've tried it. I do struggle with it. It's not something that's for me, but I do think this board's cute. I like the angular design. I like the thick, chunky bezels. I love a pen rail. If anyone likes a pen rail, it's me.
Sure.
So yeah, I think this looks great. I'm not massively keen on the base of the board in terms of how the bottom plate fits on and the kind of the light emitting areas around the sides and the front. But I do like the rest of it. I think everything else is fine. So turn those lights off, and it's good to go for me. I think it's great. The sad thing is I just can't use ortho, and there's no staggered option, and you couldn't even put a staggered layout into it, I don't think, just because of the uniformity of it. But yeah, good to see another pen rail design out there.
Jay, all about the pen rails. I totally agree. I think this board honestly looks super, super awesome, and If it weren't ortho, I would probably buy this up in a heartbeat. I kind of like the design quite a bit. I like the pen rail. The angle's a little too gentle for me, but obviously angle is going to be a lot of preference anyways. I really like it with, what caps are these? The kind of, this is 7 bits, crap, what round is this? Towards the bottom, these SA caps. Maybe you remember, Jay, I can't. But I really like, what is it?
Sail.
Oh, is this Sail?
Yeah, it's based on the old image, yeah.
Yeah, I really like the way that set looks on the E-White in particular. Very, very classy.
Yeah, I'm really sad that I didn't buy that set, actually. It would have been really nice on a board that I'd be building on Sunday, actually.
Yeah. Oh, this has actually been updated. There's less than 10 left on Cannon Keys. I was just about to take a quick guess at how many were potentially left, but there you go. I guess that answers my question. This board's selling fairly well. Yeah, it's
still up on my keyboard. So I don't, it doesn't say how many orders I've got or anything. It just says it's still available. So yeah, if you're in the EU, it's still available as well for now. I imagine they're going to go pretty quickly though.
Yeah, it could be. So the price here, I believe, for the base kit is $350 starting. So not the cheapest kit in the world, but you know, it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. I do say so myself.
Yeah. I think the price is good. Yeah, the price is really good. When you think about what it includes and stuff, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's reasonable. It's very reasonable. All right, guys, and yeah. So there's 2 different PCB choices, right? There's the MIT and the grid, depending on if you want to do the 2U spacebar or not. So
yes, you can either have it all 1U or the 2U spacebar. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, moving right along here. We got the Moontower, and this is actually kind of a bad thread. So there's not really a whole lot of information in the thread, but it does link to the site, which has a bit more information on it as well, and some pictures, which we'll check out.
Yeah, I'm going to link a couple of different threads for this one, guys. So if you do want the information, there's a couple of places you can look.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to find the album here. Here we go. There's a prototype album here. Bam, there you go. So this is by Chan, the person that brought you guys the 512, which I believe was kind of a limited / private group buy, but a really really well received board altogether. And this is kind of the next project, the Moontower. So as you can kind of see here, this is going to be a sandblasted polycarbonate housing with an O-ring gasket mount kind of system, aluminum plate, mirror polished steel weight. It comes with a PCB and daughter board, and interestingly enough, this one's also, from what it sounds like at least, going to allow people to add dye to their polycarbonate to potentially achieve some different colors, at the customer's own risk, of course. But what do you think about this? This is kind of interesting.
I mean, it's interesting. So polycarbonate is a great material. I like the sound of it. I mean, I got my TMO in smoked polycarb last week, and this thing is just absolutely stunning. I mean, it just looks great. So coloured polycarbonates are a great option. I think there is risk adding dyes, and it can go well, and it can look a bit poor depending on how it's done. I've seen some good examples. I've seen some bad examples. I think it tends to be better to buy the material already extruded and dyed in that colour. But that being said, I think the opportunity to experiment is always a good thing, especially in the kind of smaller group buys and stuff like that. The price is kind of on the high side, but I suspect it is because there's quite a low number of boards. I think the 30 units is what they're selling, if I remember correctly, and $425 kind of feels like the right amount of money when you consider that big piece of brass in the base. You consider it's polycarbonate, the dyeing and everything else, plus a custom PCB, O-ring, you know, all of that kind of stuff. I kind of get it. I think, in fact, actually, I think the weight is going to be stainless steel, right?
The weight is steel, yeah. Mirror polished stainless steel.
Mirror polished stainless steel, yeah. It's not brass.
That's where a lot of that price comes from.
Confusing me, yeah. I was looking at the picture and it looked like brass because of the colour, but yes, I think it's stainless steel. So yeah, I think, you know, I think it's a great opportunity to experiment, and I'll be really, really interested to see what some of these actually come out like as well. I'm not sure I'll jump on it myself, purely because I can't get the layouts that I would prefer on the PCB, and I don't believe it's custom compatible with other PCBs. If it is, I might join it. I'll reach out to the runner and check. But I'm really interested to see, because the 512 gets some good reviews.
512 is very popular among the people who used it.
But I do want to try one. So yeah, so if anyone's got a 512 or one of these that wants building, hey, I'll do it. Just to have a look at it. So yeah, interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah, so there you go, guys. So this is going to be a really tight raffle, guys. It's going to be open for just, I believe, 12 hours. So it opens tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central, and it closes at 10 p.m. Central the same day. So If you want a chance to potentially win one of these, you got to be on the ball tomorrow, because like Jay mentioned, 30 people are going to be winning this, and I believe that is it. So bring your $425 for your base kit plus shipping, and there you go, guys. Tomorrow, Moontower.
Yeah, I do like the design on the weight, actually.
I do too. Yeah.
Wait, the Moontower logo is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Some good artwork there.
Yeah, definitely. Man, I really want to try a 512. I really do.
Hey, I offered first.
I know. So. Thanks, Jay. Thanks. Appreciate that, man.
You're welcome.
What such brotherly love. All right, let's go ahead and move on over to an interest check, actually. This is the Conundrum. And this is a really interesting project, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. So let's take a look at this real quick. So aluminum housing, brass plate, brass weight, 5-degree angle, nothing out of the ordinary there. It seems like it's probably going to be a top mount kind of system, but what really makes this board really interesting is the fact that it's going to be using an electrocapacitive setup. So you might not be able to tell from these particular pictures, but they are going to be used, at least what they are calling their custom-made capacitive springs, housings, so on and so forth. So this is going to be a potential competitor to something like, obviously, like Topra or Niz, and you might even be able to use those particular products inside this board. So this isn't the first time we've seen a custom project happen out of the platform electrocapacity. But this is looking pretty interesting, and not very many people are willing to take on projects like this. So I'm really interested to see how this turns out, because it's looking like it's going pretty well so far. And if the information is to be believed, this could be pretty freaking awesome. So how do you feel about this, Jay? Electrocapacitive custom 4x12.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I don't think we've seen an ortho linear electrocapacitive board before. I can't remember one. So I think that's really, really interesting to see. If we step away from the interesting aspects, because I think that is really, really cool, the aspect of doing all of that kind of custom stuff. If we look at the board's got some really interesting design features and some that I'm not so keen about. First of all, the front edge doesn't look like it's truly high profile. There's a picture of the yellow one with the blue sign. I think it's GMK sign keycaps on. It doesn't look like it's truly high profile. It looks like it's kind of a semi-mid kind of profile in terms of the case height. So it'd be interesting to see how that comes. The weight design on the bottom is kind of interesting. It reminds me of the old Percent canoe logo, where it had, but it's kind of like mirrored, and it kind of takes some design cues from the canoe actually as well. The side slots, the finger slots on the sides, they have kind of a similar shape at the front. I know it's overall very different to the canoe, but the way it's shaped and styled is kind of similar as well. So it's really interesting. The couple of E colours in there, the E white, the E yellow, look really great on the prototype. I think that's an E black base, not anodized. I think all of these parts that you see on these prototypes are E colours, which is again really interesting to see. We tend to see a mix and match, and of one or the other. We don't tend to see all these colours. So I think having multicoloured cases is a great idea. I really like the look of the black and the yellow together. I think that works really, really well. Plate, I mean, it's a small board. It's going to feel relatively firm anyway, so having a brass plate in there doesn't feel too bad to me. And plus, of course, you've got that that kind of electrocapacitive keyboard. Now, if I remember rightly, those PCBs tend to be thicker than standard ones, right? They tend to be 2mm thick rather than 1.6.
I'm not entirely sure. That certainly could be the case. I feel like, obviously, the PCB thickness isn't going to matter quite as much here, as long as you're not... you're messing with any tolerances, obviously, because, like you mentioned, brass plate, small board, it's going to feel very firm anyways. I think just the fact that this is an electrocapacitive board is really the kind of shining light here, the thing that really makes this interesting, because other than that, it's really not that amazing of a product, let's be honest. The case looks fine. Brass plate, aluminum housing, brass weight, 5-degree angle. This is, nothing new. This is all very, very generic stuff, but... the electrocapacitive design could be really, really cool. So it looks like he is kind of doing a full custom PCB here, as well as he says custom-made capacitive conic springs, switch housings, and sliders. Does that mean that all these products are actually going to be custom-made? Are we not going to just see Niz parts in this? Are we going to see something totally new?
I feel like it has to be Niz parts in this. It has to be.
That's what I was thinking, too.
To do that custom is really difficult. Like, just to make the PCBs is not easy, so...
Yeah, I realistically they have to use the Niz parts if they unless they want to invest immense amounts of money into this and time and effort. But he does say custom made capacitive conic springs, so I'm really interested to see where this goes. He also says BKE Redux domes, so obviously they're not doing any kind of custom dome for this. But if BKE Redux domes are supported, it's likely that the standard Topra as well as the Niz domes are also supported by default. So that's pretty cool
what the
too.
Thing is, if he pulls this off and it is all custom parts, more layouts with this, more truth in layout. How cool could that be?
It'll be okay. If those parts are custom, it'll be an enormous step in our community for custom Topra, or well, I mean, custom electrocapacitive. I guess at that point, it's not Topra because I mean we have so little of the custom electrocapacitive stuff in our community. Our brain just defaults to just saying Topra these days because that's just all we really know. Obviously the Niz part's starting to become a little bit more popular, but still. We don't really see a lot of custom stuff. I'm really interested in this, and if they can pull it off well, I think it's going to be a pretty nice step forward.
Yeah, I think it's one to definitely keep an eye on. I don't think this particular version's for me, although I will say the machining on the prototype, the more I look at these pictures, the machining on the prototype is very, very well done. So whoever made this board knows what they're doing. They've got a good manufacturer. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to watch just to see how other options become available, because if you do this in any layout going forwards, that's a massive step.
Yeah.
Massive win for the community.
Yeah, definitely. I've to me that is way more exciting than whatever the board looks like or whatever material the plate is and stuff like that. Just being able to do something like that in a different layout would be.
If this is real, I could throw money at it and have a custom ISO Topra-esque board.
That's true, yes. You could absolutely throw money at it and get something custom. Fantastic, Jay. Fan-freaking-tastic. Alright, guys, so there you go. Stay tuned, because I'm really interested in this, and hopefully you guys are as well, because this is not just another custom keyboard, and that makes me happy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Alright.
Speaking of things that make me happy, how about taking a look at a really, really cute little bear?
Yes, that does make you happy, Jay, and it makes me a little happy as well. So why don't you tell us about the Bear 60, Jay?
Yeah, so this is an Alice layout board before we get into it, but it has got arrow keys on there as well, so it's slightly different, but it's very much in that, and I'm going to put this in air brackets, ergo, because some people don't agree it's ergo. I'd probably be one of them, but it's that ergo type of layout. But this is a Bear 60%. This is made by Jackie, who did the Elephant S7, so you might remember that chunk of a board that came out. I think it's had 2 rounds of it now, I think. Really, really nice board. I built one a while back, a solid brass one, which was just stupidly heavy. But this is a new design from the same guy. I think this is one of the cutest little kind of logos I've seen in a long, long time. I mean, it's that cute that even Olivia stepped up into the interest check thread to just say that she found it cute as well. So really cute logo on an Alice kind of layout, but with an arrow key cluster. I think this is pretty all right, actually. I don't have any problems with this at all. I think it's quite nice. There's a couple of tweaks I would probably make to it just to tidy it up a little bit. I do think that you could probably do more with the right hand side. There's a big chunk of metal there that you could do more with. I'd probably move that one U keycap at the top right, just over 0.25 of a U, and then have another keycap below it in line with where the one exists today. So they kind of step down a little bit, just so it's in line with the right hand arrow. Just fill that space in a little bit nicer, make it a little bit more functional, give you an extra key. Probably balance the board a little bit nicer with the 3 on the left hand side of the board as well. But other than that, it looks pretty cute, pretty interesting, and that's kind of all of the details we have unless we speak about the actual specs, which is that it's aluminium, 5.5 degree, and hot swap.
Yeah, not a whole lot of info, but just a couple of things there. But like you said, and like you can kind of see here, Alice alternative. Nothing entirely new here. We've been seeing lots and lots and lots of these. This one again has arrow keys and a pretty cute bear logo, so maybe that could be entirely for you. I want a little bit more information on this polycarbonate bottom and what these potential tabs are. I know we were talking a little bit before the stream. But it'd be kind of interesting to get a little bit more information on this bottom in particular, because it looks pretty interesting. Really liking that logo. Very cute.
This is why exploded views are so useful, guys, so we can actually work out what's going on inside the board and things like that as well. Because one of the things that I don't think is mentioned in here when I was trying to talk it about is the specifics on the mount type. All it says is that it's going to try the gasket mount like the Key 65. Now, the Key 65 was actually a 3-tier case. It had 3 parts. It had a base, a mid layer, and a top case. And the way the gasket worked on that is you had a gasket on the bottom of the mid piece and on the top of the top case, and the plate sat between the 2 gaskets there. I assume that means they're going to do it on the top and the bottom case here, but there's no kind of real details on how that's going to work, how many mounting points there are, whether there's any flex cuts into the plate or anything like that. So we don't have any of that information. There's no information even on plate materials. You can see that there's brass in some of the images, but that's kind of it. So yeah, just need more information.
Yeah, definitely hoping for some more information. And I imagine there will be some once they actually proceed with the group buy. Obviously, this is just interest check, so not all the information is always available. But man, does that polycarbonate base look pretty awesome in this render, particularly with this the paw print, man. The paw really does it for me. I gotta be honest. I gotta admit.
Yeah. And 200 slots at $350. That's pretty good.
200 unit cap. Not too bad. Price is in line with what you'd expect for something of this caliber.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. There you go. Look forward to the bear, guys. The bear. All right. Next up, we have the interest check for the KY01, a 75% top mount keyboard. Why don't you tell us about this one, Jay?
Yes, this is a 75% top mount keyboard designed to be simple, keep it cheap. The price target for this one is $250. Now, it is, as far as I understand, it's designed and will be shipped from the UK. So that price may be subject to change. It's estimated at the moment. But effectively, for your money, you get a top case, a bottom case, a 1.5mm plate, a USB Type-C PCB that's custom to the board. You get all of your hardware as well. Now, the typing angle is 6 degrees, so it's relatively shallow. It's on the shallower end of what we tend to see. It's not an 8 degree or a duck board with 12 degree angle or something like that, but it's respectable degree in terms of typing angle. Bead blasted aluminium with an anodized finish in a variety of different colors. So you're going to have a black, grey, silver, aquamarine, which is like a blue-grey, or blue-grey. So the aquamarine is and the blue-grey have got slightly different Pantones. You can check those out if you want to. 35 units might increase or decrease depending on the demand. It supports both ANSI and ISO, which does mean that it does have a universal plate, which you may or may not like. And the plate material options come in aluminium, brass, and carbon fiber. Now, the PCB is a custom PCB, but it does have ESD protection, QMK compatibility, and you'll be able to buy extra PCBs as you need to. So yeah, there we go. What do you think on this one, Brian? What are your thoughts?
I think it's fine. I don't really see any issues with it. Like someone pointed out in chat, it looks like a no frills and classy design, and I pretty much agree. I don't think there's a ton to be like super interested about. There's a lot of things that are pretty standard. A lot of the specs that you're reading off are pretty standard. The look really not too out of the ordinary there. I kind of like the layout. It's a decent amount of personality for 75%, even though it's not really my kind of intended layout. The like you mentioned, the fairly universal plate also not entirely my thing, but obviously because of that, you're going to be able to support some more layouts. You are going to be able to get your ISO support in there. You're going to have a couple different bottom row options, obviously, so not too bad. I kind of like the way they separated the arrow keys and the right side column. I think that looks a little bit nicer. But yeah, I don't really have a whole lot more to say about this, just because it looks like a fairly normal 75%, and that's fine. It doesn't look like there's anything crazy going on here, but, a lot of people don't need that. And for $250, you're going to have to be able to make some sacrifices. You're not going to have a whole lot going on for that price, potentially, because, there's a lot to do with keyboards. And, when you're looking at $250 price ranges, sometimes you have to cut some costs for custom keyboards. Yeah. And I think that's kind of what happened here. It looks fine. It looks like no frills, but it doesn't look that interesting at the same time to me. That's just my opinion, of course.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? I mean, $250 is pretty cheap in the custom world, especially at such a low MOQ of 35 units. You pay your money, you take your choice with these kind of things, but you have to be careful with manufacturers and their capabilities and all of that kind of stuff as well. So it's well worth bearing that in mind. You do usually get what you pay for when it comes to pricing of things. So it's well worth bearing that in mind. But other than that, I think, as you say, no frills. This looks okay. I think it would be potentially great as a starter board for a lot of people. Coming into the hobby, if they're like 75%. I think the layout could be improved. I think we've seen some very, very much improved kind of top rows on 75% recently in terms of how to stagger the row correctly and how to put the blockers in the right places and stuff like that. So because I think having the large kind of TKL style blockers doesn't really work on the 75% layout. But we'll see how it goes.
Yep, I completely agree. It'll be really interesting to see how close you can get to that $250 price point and see if there are potentially some other changes that need to be made moving forward as well. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see and check that out. Of course, once it does reach the group buy phase. Let's talk about some key sets, shall we? Because there's quite June is a crazy month for key sets. Actually,
it's massive.
It's pretty massive. So some amazing things already launching, and of course still some on the horizon. So. Starting us off right now, though, we're going to go to GMK Modern Dolch 2. So, obviously, GMK Modern Dolch, one of the probably one of the more popular key sets in our community, I would say. In 2019, obviously, it was the runner-up, the second place in the Dixie Mech Madness event. So, obviously, it's a very popular key set, and now it's seeing a return here. So, how do you feel about this run of Modern Dolch? Better or worse than the first?
I mean, I think it's fine. I mean, my view, like when we talked about this in Interest Check the other week, I think cutting down the base kits, you can cut down them too much. I feel like this is probably erring on too much of a cut down. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, the base kit's $109, and I think we've seen base kits of this size at $100 mark before. Oh no, so it is $99.
It's $100.
So
the other base kit's $110.
Yeah, so the other base kits is So I think the screen I was looking at on Dixie's site just goes by the highest price. So I apologize, but yes, it is a $99 base kit. It's kind of cut down. Most people will get compatibility from this, especially if you're US based. TKL or smaller and ANSI layout, and you're pretty much golden with the base kit. So that's pretty okay. I don't think there's any problems with that. But you do lose out on some functionality in some keys. Now, the good news is that because this is going to sell like hotcakes, and I think Dixie mentioned on Instagram that he'd sold 300 of these sets before, between him putting it live on his site and him posting on Instagram, which he was trying to do straight away. He sold through 300 sets in just a couple of minutes. So I think it will sell really, really, really well. But if you do need additional keys, there are a few other kits that you can pick up. So you've got the Additions kit, which gives you all of your kind of language and ISO support, as well as some additional accent keys and some other shift keys and all sorts of things like that as well. So if you need a 2U shift key for your Arrow 60% layout, that's included, as well as a few other bits and pieces as well, and full UK ISO. You've also got a Numpad kit, which has everything you need for a Numpad. Your Obscure kit, which basically is 40s, some staggered and ortholinear, and some split space bars as well. Your Aesthetic kit, which is quite possibly one of my favourite kits for this, because it gives you a windowed stepped caps lock key. And we don't see windowed keys often enough, so it's nice to see some Windows keys come back. Now, that does usually mean that the window is the double shot and your legend on the keycap is pad printed, so always bear that in mind. But it's really nice to see that, as well as some accent space bars too. And then you've also got a really interesting kit, which is the alternate kit. And this kind of brings, Dixie calls this a simplistic look to Modern Dolch by alternating the existing colours on some keys. So it brings in some soft greys to match with the darker greys of the modifiers. I think this looks pretty good. I think this is kind of a winner in my book, and I prefer this to any of the green or red accents. I think keep it simple, keep it classy.
Yeah,
works really, really well for me. As well as that, you've got the Apple kit, which is called Command, which gives you some Apple keys for compatibility. The Modern kit, which upgrades you to Icon bottom row mods. A Norda kit, which is great news for any folks in the EU who want to be able to pick this up, because you get Norwegian, Swedish, Flemish, Danish, Dutch, German, all sorts, including a couple of US ISO keys as well, so if you need that. And then finally, there is also another kit, which is right at the very end. Now, this was called the Clout Kit before, right? And it's now called Mist.
Yes.
But it's basically modern Sky Dolch as a base kit, but it only has a compatibility C there. So there's no additional kits, there's no ISO support. There is an additional Alice B, but other than that, it's broadly the same as the base kit for Modern Dolch.
Yeah, but it's fine though. The people that want this are going to be able to get this very, very easily, and I think it's fine. And $10 extra, it's fine. It's fine. I'm going to be opting for just the base kit on this because the base kit is something that'll work well for me because I'm one of those plebs that gets away with TKL or smaller ONSI. But I totally agree with you on the kitting here. But lots of kits though. Usually we don't see this many kits for a GMK set.
This many kits only works if you're expecting to sell a few thousand units.
A lot, yeah. And I'm almost curious. Obviously, being a $100 base kit or a $99 base kit with this particular compatibility, when you price that kit out at $100, that's obviously $1,000 minimum MOQ. So I mean, generally speaking, right? Like usually you don't see $100 kits that are expecting to sell 500 or less.
No, and I think this could probably push 3,000 in terms of kits sold worldwide. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, some other kits made some big numbers earlier on this year. Bleach did something like 1,700, and all of that kind of stuff. I think this is popular enough that it could probably hit 3,000. Yeah. Round 1 was huge. If it does any less than 2,000, I'd be incredibly surprised. But if it did 300 in the first couple of minutes, that tells you the trajectory that it's on. So I think when we see the numbers at the end of the week, I think it's going to be pretty high. And yeah, I think it'll do really well. I think, and that's why you can do this many additional child kits as well, and that's why you can do things like a Nordic kit. These kits tend to struggle to get to MOQ of 100, and maybe 1 in 20 people buy it. So therefore, if you're going to sell 2,000, a Nordic kit actually has a chance of making units, which is it's a really good way of looking at it. And of course, there's all of the original owners of Modern Dolch who can pick up these accent kits and additional kits and be able to use it as well. I am really, really sad though that the Mist kit doesn't include basic ISO support and a numpad, because otherwise that's all the compatibility it has. Sky Dolch is one of my, I'd say it's top 10 sets of all time. I really, really have a soft spot for Sky Dolch. This is kind of modern Sky Dolch, and just to lose out on that compatibility, I think if it's going to be that sole kit, you need to make sure that it has compatibility for all layouts, and I would have liked to see it a bit more fully fledged.
Yeah, I suppose that is fair enough. I also want to point out, just because I noticed it very happily when you were talking about the kitting. When you were talking about the modern kit, you specifically said if you want to upgrade to icon mods, and that makes me really happy because I love icon mods, even the modern ones. So the fact that you are well aware that these are the upgraded option, it makes me very happy.
I'm not sure I meant upgrade. Okay.
I think you did. Otherwise,
I think you're using my words against me here, Brian.
Well, absolutely. But if I can't do that, then what else am I supposed to do, Jay?
That's true. That's true. Of course, there is also a slew of different desk mats featuring the now traditional Dixie circles, the whole kind of Dixie low poly mountain sidescape, as well as some Rama caps as well. There's also some silicone swirl caps. Now, I know you guys have probably heard about the issues with the 8008 silicone swirl caps. Dixie did put out a statement. I recommend you go and read that if you're interested in buying those keycaps as well, because he's done a lot of good steps in the right direction with that post. So definitely go check that out. But yeah, nice to see this come to fruition. I'm just really, really sad that this the Clout kit, what's it called now? Mist. The Mist kit doesn't have ISO support. Just basic ISO support, and that would have been killer for me, and I would have snapped it up. But I do think I will buy that those light grey alternative mods. What were they called? What was that kit called? The alternate kit. Yeah, I think I'll pick that up for my original round 1.
Fair enough. Alright, guys, so that is GMK Modern Dolch 2. Let's go ahead and move over to the group buy for EnjoyPBT Cool Kids by Beep, of course, none other than. And this was an April Fool's joke, right? That's how this started? Is that one of those sets?
It was posted on April Fool's, but I think it was actually intended to be a real set from the start.
Okay.
They just chose to release it.
Okay, well, either way, obviously, this is EnjoyPBT Cool Kids, and man, is this is this a little bit out there? Is this a little bit different? Which is why I kind of remember it being an April Fool's joke. But, obviously several sets have come to fruition quite successfully, I might add, from April Fool's jokes. And you never know, this could be one of them as well. Beep having a lot of success with some of his previous sets, including Dots, which was also an April Fool's joke. But, EnjoyPBT Cool Kids. This is a very kind of whimsical, almost playful, silly kind of set. Which I really appreciate right now, and amidst all the seriousness in the world, sometimes it's kind of nice to take a step back and look at something entirely ridiculous and silly, and I kind of like that for that reason. But how do you feel about this? Is this your cup of tea?
Do you know what? This is just fun and it's different, and there's a few benefits to this. And A1A's already hit it on the head in chat. He says you can't complain about legend tolerances with this one.
People will. Right. People still will. Don't worry.
It'll happen. My G is misaligned to yours, Brian. Therefore, that's wrong. I mean, it's just fun. It's different, isn't it? The one thing that I do wish had happened on this is I wish that the mods were kind of all a bit, on angles and stuff like that, as well as the alphas. I think if that would have done it, it would have given it a more cohesive look. That's the only thing that detracts from it in my head. But other than that, I'm a real big fan of the colors used. I think it feels fun. It reminds me of being in school when I was a kid. I really do like it. I think it's really fun. And I don't remember there being... I can't remember if it was this one or if it was the other bright coloured one that was around at the same time, where it was I think it was black. It was black on white with coloured mods and an orange spacebar. One of them didn't have ISO support, but so if it was this one, it's now brought ISO support in. I can't remember what the other set was called. What was that called now? It was good by the guy who did Waves. Enjoy.
Are you talking about Spectrum?
Is that what it's called? Spectrum? Yeah, either Spectrum or this. One of them didn't have ISO support in. If it was this one, it's now brought it in. If it wasn't this one, then, well, I'm wrong. But, it's got reasonably good compatibility as well, the base kit. Lots of that.
$89 base kit, too. So, not terribly expensive. It's pretty much what you'd expect from EnjoyPBT, if not even a little bit better. Sub $100 base kit, $89. Decent amount of compatibility.
Yeah.
Can't really hit on that. Can't really hit. What would be kind of cool, since they have all these, all the alphas are kind of just like, thrown around. It'd be kind of cool if you maybe just as like kind of an Easter egg almost, they make like a handful of sets that are a little bit different. Like maybe some of the legend placements a little bit shifted from some of the other sets, so it's almost like a extra level of uniqueness, I guess you could say. I don't know.
Just do them all random. Just do
exactly that, like just a little bit more randomness. That way, it's just a little bit more like unique to the to that set. But that potentially highly stupid idea by me aside, let's check out some of the other kits. So there's a Novelties Kit, which they are calling the Smileys Kit. What's not to love? I mean, there's different color smiley faces. Right? It's hard to hate on that. There's the Backpack Kit, which is a relatively small 40s kit, but do have some nice compatibility there. I like the text novelties that they're including too. The Have Fun key, the Yay and Nay key. Like that's just amazing. They slip those in. I like that a lot. Yeah. There's the
it's like key on the base kit says cool instead of Windows or code or anything else. I do like that. Good addition. Yeah.
Yep. Fantastic. And there's also the Pencils Kit, which is going to be a pretty beefy Spacebars kit, if I do say so myself. And there's also the Rubbers Kit, which is kind of your smaller Spacebars or split Spacebars, smaller split accent Spacebars. And these are convex, of course, as well. So interesting that they're calling it the Rubbers Kit. It's kind of funny to me because I imagine Beep is French, right? So
yes.
So like out there, rubbers, that's an eraser, right? That's what you guys call rubbers?
We call something else rubbers here in the UK, yeah.
Okay, so is it like the US where rubbers actually is a reference to condoms?
Yes, it is, yeah. We do call them a rubber as well, like the word means both here in the EU. We wouldn't call it an eraser.
I'm curious. Obviously I'm not French, and I'm not in the EU. I don't know what rubbers actually means to him. I assume it means the erasers, but I wonder if in his culture it also means condoms like it does in our cultures. Because to me it's kind of comical.
Maybe I'm only speaking for the UK here, but we would definitely not call it an eraser.
We have PE in chat who is French, and he says not eraser. Very nice. Okay, so I'm just being silly then. That's all that's happening here.
Mm-hmm.
As normal.
It appeals to the broader market.
Yeah. Wonder if is that the strategy then? Is that why he called it that?
I have no idea. Numbers are looking good though.
Because they're also convex. Oh, this is so big brain. Beep is so clever. Convex spacebar. Oh my god, what the that's I see what you're doing, Beep. That's clever. That's clever. Oh yeah. I like the cable collaboration too. I know we don't usually talk about stuff like this just because every set under the sun these days has a million collaborations, but this particular cable with a smiley face makes me quite happy.
Colored screws. That's really cool.
Oh man, good stuff. All right, there you go, guys. That's EnjoyPBT Cool Kids. That is open right now, $89. KBDfans, of course, the primary proxy, but you have a couple others as well listed there. So make sure to jump on that if you're maybe in the mood for something playful. You need something to lighten the mood because life has just been so freaking dark lately. Alright, sorry guys. Moving over, we have another group by here. This is a GMK Blink by Jebra, and this is one that a lot of people are waiting for a while. We checked out the interest check. Feels like, what, a year and a half ago now? It's been a little bit. But Blink, which is inspired by the Korean pop group Blackpink. There you go, guys. What do you think about this, Jay? Are you a fan of the Blackpink kind of color theme?
So I'll be honest, the disclaimer up front, I am proxying this set for the EU, and I have no idea who Blackpink are. I've never heard any of their music.
I haven't either.
But I do. I've always been a fan of Korean sub-legends, or the Hangul sub-legends, and I think when Zonda did the first kind of add-on kit a couple of years ago, or a year or so ago, whenever it was, I bought that. In fact, no, I didn't buy that. Yulia from my keyboard gave it to me as a birthday gift, actually. So I'm a big fan of that. I think the set works really well. Who doesn't like a bit of pink?
Yeah, I mean, I know, right? Yeah. This is one of those sets where I feel like it really is just all about the colors, and either you like the colors or you don't. I mean, obviously it is inspired by the K-pop group Blackpink, but at the end of the day, if you take away that label, it's just a black and pink set with Korean sub-legends and those particular novelties. And I think in that sense, it's kind of hard to dislike it. I mean, it's black, it's pink. If you like black and pink, you'll probably like the set. If you don't, maybe you won't. Korean sub-legends, I think, look really nice here. I like you, Jay. I have no idea about Blackpink. I don't know the theme at all. I understand what pop music is, but that's about as far as it goes. So I'm not very versed in that. However, there is a two kind of base kit approach here, which I do kind of like a lot. So you have the more traditional base kit with the kind of the dual tone, the darker alphas, the lighter mods on this one, and then you also have a more monochrome approach with the black kit, which gives you the kind of monochrome black keys with the pink legends, and I like that one quite a bit. I think this one is going to be definitely on my list to look out for.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being completely open and honest, my favourite of the two is the blackout kit. I much prefer that base kit, and I've always said that I'll only ever proxy things I like and that I want to use myself, and that set is absolutely on my want list, and that was why I agreed to proxy when I was asked, because the black kit just looks really, really nice, and I like dark colours with pinks. I think pink is an underused colour in keyboards right now, so we should use it more. Novelties, I have no idea if they work, but hey, people tell me that they are pretty close to what Blackpink's all about, so I'll take their word for it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really speak too well on the novelties. They look more or less fine to me. I like the text novelties, Kill This Love, and the DDUs, and the Boom Baya. I'm not familiar with any of this, so all this is lost on me, and I probably sound like an absolute moron just trying to talk about it right now, but yeah, this is a little lost to me, but I appreciate the text novelties, and I imagine, if I were a fan of this, maybe I'd probably appreciate it a lot more even, so kind of cool stuff there. There is a very simple Spacebars kit as well, so relatively simple looking set, but I kind of like where this is going, even if I don't understand the theme. I think I gotta pick up the black kit, just because it's really nice. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Alright. Let's move on to our next topic here, which is the group buy for GMK Rouge, I believe is how it's said. And
Rouge, yeah.
this is Amir's newest project here, and yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to say about this one, honestly. It's a pretty simple set. How do you feel about these colors?
So I don't dislike the colours. I kind of like that Amir's doing something different in kind of going for the numbers being slightly different. Instead of having like accent keys in other places, he kind of likes to change things up a bit and do accents in his own way. And the whole theme for this one is kind of makeup and all of that kind of stuff, which I'm an expert in, clearly.
You would be both.
But it's kind of designed to evoke those kind of makeup-y type feelings and all that kind of stuff. So I do like the fact that he tries things differently. It's probably not one for me in terms of the colours and the way it's utilised. But I kind of respect what he's going for here. The other thing I'd say as well is he's bringing back the 2 heart key, which was seen on a really old vintage board. I can't remember what it was called now. It was an OG board, but it had a 2 keycap with a heart above it, and he's absolutely bringing that back here. So he wants to bring that particular key back into the lexicon, into the GMK fold, and make that available as well. So nice to see some kind of vintage stuff making an inspiration in what is really a very, very modern set. But yeah, I think this will do quite well in terms of the group buy. Base kit looks okay. It's kind of that cut down kind of specialty kit, very similar to what we've just seen with Modern Dolch. But if you do want a numpad, there is a numpad available. The numpad also includes the basic ISO support, which is US terminal style ISO support, and 2 additional 2 keys which replace the heart with the more traditional @ symbol as well. And then there's a small 40s kit as well, which kind of gives you basic compatibility for most 40s boards, as well as an extra B for Alice users too. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really understand the theme. I'm not an expert on makeup or what the theme is here, but $120 base kit seems a little high. But I mean, with that said, you can probably expect not to sell 1,000 base kits here. I think is the kind of idea. That generally is how that works when you get a base kit like this that is above the $100 price range, above the $110, $150 price range. At $120,
Yeah.
I think it looks fine. And the colors, not entirely for me, but I do respect the kind of that kind of inspiration, like you, Jay, like you mentioned here, this kind of old board here, which I was showing off just a little bit earlier. I was hoping he had the name in here, but he didn't actually have it listed. So
I can't remember. It's an old Cherry 1800. Is it a Cherry Y 1800? I can't tell.
Someone in the chat will probably tell us. Chat knows all. In chat we trust, but. But yeah, I think the kitting's more or less fine. I think the colors are more or less fine. The set looks alright. I mean, I honestly, I can't really hate on it. And drawing the inspiration from that older board, I think that's fine. I like the Heart 2 key. The only thing I don't like about it, but I also don't like on the inspiration either, rather, is just the fact that the heart as an icon, as like a character, sits so much lower than the rest of them. And I think that kind of, I don't know.
It is where the original...
I know, and I realize that it is staying true to the original, and because of that, I do respect that. But to me, just me personally, my visual symmetry is broken a little bit there because of that. And it draws my attention strictly to that, and not in a fully 100% positive way for me.
Sure.
It's like, I don't know. I don't know why. I don't like it on the original either, on the inspiration. So I'm not trying to be mean to the set because of that, but I don't like it here either, to be honest. That's just a personal qualm, though. But
sure. No, I completely get that.
Yeah. Otherwise, set looks pretty fine. Pretty fine.
Yeah. Shout out to Mr. Petrol. Thank you very much for the 1,000 bits. Really, really appreciate it, dude. Thank you very much for your support. Genuinely appreciate it.
Thank you, Petrov. Really appreciate that, my friend. Alright, guys, so there you go. That is GMK Rouge. Let's go ahead and move over to something that isn't GMK, something that is actually Cat. So this is Cat Explosion. This is the group buy from Rensuya. This is one that's been in the work for a while. This is the next Konosuba character-themed Cat set in the works. So this is Explosion, and this is based on Megumin from the show/manga, obviously, Konosuba. And it's kind of based on her signature explosion magic, if you will. That's kind of her gimmick, her thing. And that's kind of what this is based off of. And it does feature some katakana options as well, which I think are really nice. But Yeah, so I know you're not a weeb, Jay. I completely know that and I understand that. But how do you feel about this set not being a weeb?
Okay, so I'll be honest. If you look at the kit breakdown, I don't like the set there. But when I see it on boards like I think is it the Kendo yet by 159, I think it looks really really good on in the actual render. So the kit breakdown didn't turn me on. The actual look of and feel of the set in the renders, it looks pretty damn good. Really tasty. I think I'm probably just going to keep it simple and go for a base set of this kind of like keep the standard alphas, not really look into any of the kind of novelty keys or anything like that, and just try and go for the purple mod set and keep it simple. Probably the text one. But yeah, it's interesting. Again, I don't get the kind of history behind it, which is really sad for me. I feel like I'm missing out on what you guys all know about. But
You could watch this show, Jay. You could watch
if
this
I had
show.
time, I could, yes. But yeah, I think this. I mean, it's doing fine as this kit. I mean, it smashed through MOQ, it doubled MOQ in day one, I think. So it's absolutely smashing it right now. There is a ton of kits. Not going to go through them all, but you can basically cover any keyboard that's ever existed. I think there is just so many different kits out there, and it's so cheap as well. Being cat, the kits are all relatively fairly priced. I think the highest priced kit was $60. I think when I was looking earlier on, which and that was for a full icon mods or text mods kit. Alphas were only $30. So yeah, pretty good going.
Yeah, I think this is looking pretty nice, and I picked up the last Konosuba themed cat set, and I'll probably pick up this one as well. Yeah, it's just I like the theme too much. I just like it too much. Also, shout out to Chimusuke for the Rama novelties here. I think these are just fantastic. I think
They do look good.
Those are amazing. Desk mats also, I really really like these desk mats a lot. I just don't really have anything negative to say about it. I'm sorry. I really like this set, and I'm definitely going to be buying this one. Definitely. But yeah, also just as far as the pricing is concerned, pretty standard for cat stuff. You can outfit a lot of standard boards for about $90-ish, as long as you're not looking into the really exotic kind of layouts, and you can get a lot of 40s and ortho support on your boards for about $70. So definitely not terribly expensive. This is kind of what we come to expect from cat sets these days. Definitely not as expensive as something like GMK. So there you go, guys. That is open now. Get in on it if you like it.
Absolutely.
And moving over to EnjoyPBT again. We don't really see a ton of EnjoyPBT sets. Seen more of them lately, though. It's kind of nice.
It's like waiting for the bus. You wait long enough and put once, right?
Mm-hmm. So this is the group buy for EnjoyPBT Ivory, and this is kind of an interesting group buy. I'm looking for a picture here, sorry. So there you go, EnjoyPBT Ivory, and what's cool about this set is I believe all of the profits are going to the organization Save the Elephants. So we got a charity kind of key set going on here, and we always love to see that, of course. And yeah, how do you feel about this? While I look for a basic picture.
I think that's a pretty good idea. So I think literally just going to recoup costs. So whatever they've spent on renders, that's kind of all they're going to pull back from this one. That's really good of all of the vendors to agree to do that. Fair play to them. I think if you're doing that, it makes sense to open it up to more vendors and to not just have one per area and try and, because some people tend to support different vendors for things like this. So when it's for charity, I do think it's worthwhile opening up to as many vendors as possible, and trying to push that kind of through. But I think this is a really good cause. We should be protecting elephants. We should not be using ivory. This is for a really good cause. I genuinely like the look of the set. It's nice. It's simple. The novelties are cute as hell. I do find it a little bit distracting that there's kind of like 4 or 5 different types of elephant and different styles of drawing as well for them. They're all really, really cute, but I would prefer if they kind of just picked one style and stuck with it. But yeah, you can't complain. The compatibility in the base kit's pretty good as well. For $75, you can't complain. You can cover pretty much most boards with that, including F13 keys and everything else you could possibly want. I think the base kit's pretty good. You've also got a Numpad kit for $15, which gives you a full Numpad with all of the different keys you need for that. The Novelties Kit is, I think, $15 as well. some really, really good and interesting designs there. I don't dislike any of them. I think they're all really super cute. I just think that there's too many different styles of drawing for me, and I'd probably pick one style of design for my board. Shame there's no ISO novelty. You could have done something really cool with an elephant reaching up with its trunk.
Yeah.
But hey,
missed opportunity.
Yeah, but it's $15, right? And for all those keys, I think that's great because you can put these on any board as well. With look great. There's also Icon Kit, Spacebar Kit, Nomad Kit, International Kits. You name it, they've got it. You can cover pretty much every single board that you'd want, as well as a ton of desk mats. And shout out to the one by Sour, because although I think there's two actually, but the first one by Sour, which shows the elephants walking through the safari park and all that kind of thing, that is absolutely stunning. That is 100% in my basket, going to be bought because it's just amazing.
Yeah, that does look absolutely spectacular, I gotta admit. I think the other one by Sour is pretty good as well, but yeah, you're right. That kind of just scenery with the trees, the elephants, the birds, the landscape. It's just fantastic, just fantastic. So yeah, and like you mentioned, the base kit $75, and this does outfit a lot of keyboards. If you're a TKL user or smaller, $75. That's kind of hard to hate on that, right? Especially when the profits are going towards a good cause.
Yeah, for $105, you can have the base kit, the numpad, and the novelties pack for $105. And you know that all of your profits generated from that are going to the charity to help save elephant. It's fantastic. Or for an extra $15, you can swap out the numpad and get your international kit. Great, fantastic. There is almost no reason for me not to buy this set.
Yeah, I think I'm in for at least the base kit, if not base plus novelties. Some good looking stuff. So that is Group Buy is open right now, guys. Make sure you jump on that if that is your thing. Let's move over to something that has me actually quite excited. So this is the interest check for Cat Refined. And while this might look like a very simple and mundane set to a lot of others, to me it looks freaking incredible. So I'm trying to find a good picture that will show this off as well as I want. I guess I'll just go for this. I'll go for this Iron 165 because obviously everything looks good on the Iron 165. So the idea, at least from what I gather behind the...
I'm joking. Go on. I would say pass it up on the Lodestone because that's on there as well, but no, go on.
No.
I'm just winding you.
Well, yeah, the Iron 165 is way cooler than the Lodestone, let's be honest. I mean, if it's a project that you're involved in, it can't be that amazing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Funnily enough, I do have my Iron 165 here, but we'll talk about that later.
Jokes aside, I'm looking forward to the Lodestone as well. But just to trigger Jay, I won't show it anymore. But yes, you can see here it's a cat set, but you are going to see the top left aligned legends here. So it almost looks like it's going for an almost kind of traditional GMK cherry style legends. With that kind of aesthetic, but in a cat profile, and I think that's really, really cool. I think the legends actually look quite a bit better here than some of the center aligned cat sets. And man, look at this picture. This looks so freaking lovely. So the idea here, I think, from what I've been gathering at least, is he's kind of trying for a black on white approach as well as a white on black approach. And there's going to be effectively kits on both sides that you kind of just mix and match. So let me find the kit breakdown rather. And so how do you feel about this one, Jay, while I look for these pictures?
So first and foremost, I think this is really, really cool. So you mentioned that it's got all the left aligned legends, but it's much more than that. What Max Sophie has actually done is he's gone and taken the GMK legends and he's actually transformed all of them to be exactly what they should be. There are so many inconsistencies in GMK kind of legends and things like that, and what he's done is he's gone through and he's fixed all of them. I can't find it now, but there was a breakdown of what he'd done somewhere in here before, and he put some images in and showed people how he'd done it. Or I'm sure there was. I can't see it now, but basically he's gone through, he's aligned them all up, he's tweaked them, he's made them much nicer in terms of the legend quality and consistency and positioning and everything else. And even this should be even nicer than what GMK legending is. So yeah, really excited for this. He did reach out to me a couple of weeks ago, shared this idea with me. We talked a lot about kitting and stuff like that, and he's come up with some unique takes for a cat set in terms of kitting. There's a lot of things that he hasn't done here. So when we looked at Cat Explosion before, You see a ton of different things there with different alphas and north kits and south kits and all of that kind of stuff. He hasn't gone for that purely because that's a lot of work to do when he's refining every single legend down to kind of like pixel level quality. He's so I think one of the things he shared, he'd got the G from GMK and he'd actually changed all of the font to make it exactly what it should be, and make it much neater and crisper and cleaner. So he's done an awful lot of work changing all of these legends. Every single keycap that you see has had the legend drawn pretty much from scratch by him, to kind of mirror what the potential of GMK is. And there's just a ton of detail involved in that. So a very different kit breakdown, really interesting to see, a couple of different colorways. I think this is going to do really well.
Yeah, I completely agree. This is going to do super well. You joked about it before the show, but I even put it in the notes here. I labeled this a god tier set because for me, this is a guaranteed set. I have to buy this. It's just fantastic, and I love this because like I was trying to show off in I'll do it right now again, and some of the kitting here. So there's a black on white version and there's a white on black version, and because of that, you can kind of just mix and match, and you're able to achieve, something a little bit more classy. Like in this picture here, where you have the white on black mods as well as the black on white alphas, and it kind of looks like the GMK monochrome or almost GMK metaverse kind of vibes. I like that a lot, and I think this is going to be really successful. I can't wait to get my hands on this one. Where do I pay? Where do I send the money?
Exactly right. If you scroll down to the second person, the thread, it's actually where Max Effie breaks down all of the stuff that he's done. So just to kind of show this off a little bit, it's second post.
Thread?
Yeah. He posted the first post, the only person. He posted the second post.
Got it.
Yeah, so you can kind of see what he's done. So he's taken the GMK legends for the RG and the T, and he's kind of refined what those look like. So whilst it does very much look like GMK when you glance at it, there are some really, really big differences that he's making, but it just looks refined all of the way through. The second thing as well is he's also fixed all of the guttering. So what you'll see is the distance from the left-hand edge of the keycap to the start of the text or the start of the legend is different on different GMK sets. It's different. It's relatively consistent, but there is still some issues with it. He's gone through. He's fixed all of that on all of them. He's fixed all of the kerning and spacing. So there's over time GMK's molds have kind of got worn a little bit. So he's gone through and fixed all of those. He's kind of leveled off all of the icon mods. So we were talking about earlier on the Numro, Brian, where you said he didn't like that heart on Rouge, where it's a little bit lower down. One of the other things he's done is he's gone through all of those double legend keycaps. He's made sure they're all aligned. He's really gone on to rectify all of this. So he's made some big changes, and he's done an awful lot of work to do that. So it's really impressive.
This is outrageous, and just the fact that he put this much time and effort, like, really just shows you like the kind of potential that we can like see in our community when people actually put in that kind of effort. And man, big shout outs to Max Surfy here, because this is all just looking freaking fantastic, and I just am so freaking pumped to buy this set. Man, some of these reference images though, like the kerning and spacing, that's scroll lock. Wow. That is something else, man. That is something else.
I mean, we look at GMK as the gold standard, and I guess it is for double shotting, but GMK isn't without its faults. It really isn't.
Yeah, that's certainly a thing. Man, it's crazy. That's crazy. All right, so looking forward to this one, guys. We'll definitely be keeping our eyes on this one, and we'll check it out again once it does meet the group buy phase. It's gonna look good. Good stuff. All right, last but not least on our news doc for today, we have the interest check for GMK Evil Dolch. GMK Evil Dolch. So this one's kind of interesting. It was previously called GMK Zoom. I'm actually not 100% sure why he changed it. Are you aware?
I think it was just pressure from the community. People didn't get the reference from Zoom, and I have no idea what it was referencing, so he changed it. Okay. He feels like this is an evil version of Dolch, and that's kind of where the name went. I think I'd argue that it's probably more of a dark version of Honeywell than a dark version of Dolch, but hey, who am I to split hairs?
Yeah, I think I gotta agree with you here. It does seem a little bit more like that, but in the same vein, like why add the Dolch name here? I feel like people use the Dolch terminology too willy-nilly, I guess, in this community. At least in a lot of the interest checks that we've seen. So many people just try to just tag Dolch onto so many sets when I feel like it's not 100% necessary always.
For sure.
This set could have potentially been called something different, because when you look at this set, you don't immediately think Dolch, do you? Are you just brought directly into Dolch when you see this? Because I know I'm not. And I feel like maybe with a different name, this could be a little bit nicer. But that's just me being, nitpicky. I do think the set looks fine. I'm okay with the colors. And I think if they had... Did someone gift some subs? I'm hearing lots of stuff in my ear.
Steph, thank you very much for the gift subs, man. Really, really appreciate those. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I kept hearing it going off in my ear, and I was like, wait a minute. Something just happened. Just kept going on. But how do you feel about this set, Jay? The colors and the name and everything?
I think it's fine. I think I agree with you. Calling it Dolch just feels like it's tagging onto that whole kind of Dolch movement and trying to push it from a sales perspective or whatever else, trying to tag onto a known name. It feels like that very much so. To me, this feels like a very much standalone set. It's, it's Bread or Sanctuary or Demonic with some different coloured alphas, and I really do feel like it doesn't have anything to do with Dolch other than the fact that it's got darker mods and lighter alphas, and even that is a little bit of a stretch, but I'll talk about that in a second. I do think if it's more of the theme of the Dark Honeywell, or as one creative mind said to me earlier on in the week, Dark Honey Unwell. But I also don't get the novelties. I mean, it feels like it's trying to be a bit gamery. It's got kind of like scope sights and then Japanese characters or Chinese characters. And I think when I was reading through the interest check, when he was asked what the Japanese character meant, he wasn't sure. He just liked it, and it just doesn't kind of feel like that's the right way to design a key set to me. I'm not really a fan of any of the novelties keys. None of them really work for me.
Yeah, I don't understand the theme, I guess, so I'm not really understanding the novelties as well. I think I like the base kit. I think it's fine. As far as the compatibility is concerned, it's actually pretty decent. You get basic ISO, you get the numpad in there, you get all your usual suspects. There's a decent amount of keys. And I think the colors are actually totally fine. I think it looks pretty good in the renders. The novelties just completely fall flat for me, I gotta be honest. I don't understand any of them. Spacebar's kit, pretty standard stuff there. There's the Alice style B in there, and of course there's a Nordic kit. I'm not gonna pretend I know what all of these are for, so I'm gonna hope that if you're the type of person that buys this, it supports what you need.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty good as a Nordic kit. Again, I don't think, and as much as it pains me to say this, because I kind of like to support the EU sets, as everyone knows, but unless you're going to sell 1,000 base units, it kind of doesn't really make sense to do a Nordic kit, because it's not going to make it, and then the vendors either have to buy it out or refund everyone, and it's not great, sadly. But yeah. I mean, other than that, I think the set's okay. I don't like the naming convention. I think it just feels like it's hanging on to Dolch's tailcoats to try and...
What was the theme for Zoom when it was named Zoom? What was it?
I think it was just trying to be gamery. The other thing as well is I was really interested in the colours that we used for this, and I'm going to see if I can find them really, really quickly, because I do have my RAL cards with me, and I was looking at the RALs because they didn't seem quite right when he was showing off one as a grey. So he's got 9017 and 9005. And to just show you guys, these two here that I'm tapping on the screen, those are the two colours. Now, those are both almost identical. I can't physically see the difference between them here in real life. But those are the two colours used for this. So I feel like the colours need to be checked as well. It's interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, it is worth pointing out that this is an interest check, and because of that, obviously anything is subject to change. That's just the way interest checks work. So we'll have to wait and see, I guess. You could potentially see some changes coming.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I don't understand the theme, and even under the inspiration section, he doesn't really explain about it. He just says that it was called Zoom, and now it's called Evil Dolch.
Yeah, it's interesting. Interesting. He's got a ton of different proxies for this as well. So he's not just going for the US, the EU, and Asia and Australia like it normally would do. Just for reference here, he's got the US, Canada, EU, Asia, Southeast Asia, Oceania, Ukraine and Russia, and Norway. So that's a huge list of potential vendors that he's trying to arrange. Yeah. I don't even know if there are any Russian vendors.
Maybe someone in chat knows. Do we have any Russian vendors? Interesting really to know. Obviously, if it was in Norway, do we think it would be Mekanisk, or are there other Norwegian?
As far as I know, Mekanisk is the only keyboard store in Norway.
So this user is also from Norway too. So good on him for wanting to kind of support his local region as well, and having a Norway vendor in there. It'd be interesting to see how well these sets are going to sell in some of these regions, to be totally honest with you. Mr. Petrov says there's a Ukraine vendor on his Instagram. Can't remember their name. Okay, interesting. I'm not familiar with any Russian or Ukrainian vendors. But hey, that's there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, so are you going to be buying one of these, Jay? Is this a set for you? Or are you gonna pass on this one?
If I do, it wouldn't be the novelties. Maybe the base kit. I don't think it's terrible. I think it's okay. I think the colours need to be checked, because I'm really worried about 9017 and 9005 as RAL colours are pretty much the same, especially in the RAL books. If you look online, yeah, they're slightly different when you look online, but when you look in the actual RAL books, they are the same colour as far as I can tell, or they're so close that you might as well not have them be different. So I would consider checking the colours out. But yeah, other than that, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I know, like, even obviously you guys out there know that I'm fairly colorblind, but even to me, these two RAL tones look very, very different in this picture on the thread.
Yeah, I think he's used the online samples of RAL codes, which isn't the best way to do it. You need an actual RAL book, or I've got the color chip versions as well in the warehouse. When I had the color chips out, they were pretty much the same. I couldn't see the difference. So yeah, he definitely needs to check out those, because they're really, really, really close.
Yeah, they looked really similar, like on your camera when I was looking at them. But yeah, they look very different in this particular picture. So
yeah, and I think that's just online variation. But if you search any RAL color online, you'll get 1,000 different variations of what's supposed to be the same color, because monitors, calibration, digitizing colors is all very, very different. Sure. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. So that's actually going to round out our news doc for today. We're going to talk about our sponsors for just a moment. Then we're going to roll into our Q&A section like we always do. But you can start asking questions right now, right here, right now. You can use the @TopClack tag so we can see them a lot easier. You can get those in right now. If you don't use the tag, we might skip the question because we might not see it. So just keep that in mind, guys. But moving over to talk about some of our lovely, lovely sponsors for the day. Starting us off, we have the wonderful, always wonderful Novelties, who has loads and loads and loads of things going on right now. GMK Boneyard, which I believe starts tomorrow, actually. Right? Today's the 4th. Am I crazy? It is the 4th.
Yeah, okay. It's 5th tomorrow. Yeah. It's also...
Yeah. So we'll be talking about that on the show later, of course, next week. But GMK Boneyard starting tomorrow. GMK Midnight Rainbow starting tomorrow. Cam Ghost starting tomorrow, which is a really interesting set. And lots of other things going on as well. So the Novelties Blueberry switches are currently in stock as well. So a lot of people have been interested in getting some of those. You can pick some of those up right now. Lots of other switches in stock, of course. Stabilizers, desk mats, key sets. You want a collectible Boba Fett Star Wars GMK set? He's got you covered. You want an olive plushie? Look how cute that is. $15 still in stock. Look at that. Of course you want one. Why wouldn't you want one? Any reasonable person wants the olive plushie. Let's be completely honest. So if you're going to be buying anything that's in stock at Novelties, make sure you use our promo code. That's going to be Clack. That's one word, all lowercase. It'll get you 5% off anything in stock. So make sure you use that when you purchase.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving over to our second sponsor of the day, it is Kono.store. Now, Kono have a few things going on right now at the minute. You can join EPBT Ivory, which we talked about earlier on. That is the set where all of the profits are going to go to supporting elephants and everything else. Really, really good charitable donations. Ton of desk mats, ton of options. Definitely go check it out. It's definitely on my list of things to buy this month, purely from a good cause perspective, even though the set's really cool as well. So do check that out, guys. Really good price for what's a really, really nice set. Lots of pre-orders are available as well. If you've missed a group buy on Kono recently, and that could be any of the group buys from Cat Oasis to GMK Copper to SA2600 to GMK Ursa to Sharkbait, you name it, you can go and buy a pre-order version of that set, which means you'll get it when the group buy ships. So when the group buy ships, they'll ship all of those out and the pre-orders as well. And they may have extras after as well. Who knows? But definitely go check those out. If switches are more your thing, bear in mind that they've got the Keystone switches now coming for the Keystone group buy for the boards as well. So you can get a couple of those switches, try them out if you want to see what they're going to feel like. You won't be able to use them in a board, but of course the Keystone board is just around the corner now, guys. We're going to see it pretty soon from what I understand from Harter. So really, really, really excited for that. They could be a big game changer for the community, and I'm interested to see how that pans out. And of course, if you want to get something for a friend or someone who's working from home, if COVID's having you working from home now, and you need a board from home to do you in a pinch, or you've got a friend who needs one, or you want something to work with a laptop and you need it to be wireless, then check out the Hex Gears boards. You can get the Gemini, the X1, or the Venture in stock now, and they're super low profile and they're fully wireless as well. So all of that capability in a pretty good price package. So definitely check those out if they're interested.
Heck yes. Moving on, we have the wonderful KBDfans, who has numerous things going on right now, including EnjoyPBT Cool Kids and EnjoyPBT Ivory, which of course we just talked about earlier. So yeah, that's going on right now, as well as the KBD Pad MK2 that finally got revamped, and that's the group buy is open for that right now. And yeah, EnjoyPBT. Cool.
That's gonna. Well, we've been on the show.
Has it gone up? Oh, yeah, no, it was up before the show, wasn't it?
When I loaded the page, it wasn't there, and I've just refreshed the page, and it is. So here we go.
Oh, really? I thought
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was open when I opened the page earlier, but maybe it wasn't. That's just top Clack things, right? Things happen during the show, and then we look stupid when they happen in real time, and we're not updated on it. That's just the way it goes. But yeah, that's open right now, guys, one way or the other. But definitely consider getting in on EnjoyPBT Ivory. It's for a great cause. It's a great price, and obviously Kono's running it as well. But if KBDfans is your preferred vendor, then it's $75 there as well. And Cool Kids, if you're a fan of Beep and you're a fan of playful designs, $89, a pretty decent base kit that we saw earlier as well. They have lots of other things going on as usual, so they're kind of a one-stop shop. So regardless of what you're kind of in the mood for, they probably got you covered. They also have the Maja coming soon, which is another kind of relatively inexpensive Alice alternative coming very, very soon. So looking forward to that. All right.
Absolutely. Moving over to our final sponsor of today, it is Mekanisk, the wonderful Leandrin, and all of his great things. So on the store, there isn't much right now, guys. Bear in mind that he's just finished one group buy. He's about to start some more soon. You can get a couple of keyboard parts if you are really interested. You can order some of the Mekanisk Ultramarine keyboard stabilizers. These are Duroc stabilizers in Mekanisk's kind of signature aquamarine color. And you can also buy some dampening foam as well and get a sticker along with it if you'd like to for your existing Mekanisk boards. Sadly, the WT60D PCB has sold out, so there are no longer any more of those available, but it is a really good PCB, so I'm not surprised it's sold out, and I'm sure it will be back in stock soon. Do keep an eye out though, guys, because very, very soon in the near future, Leandrin is going to be launching the Tinned, so board that both Brian and I are really, really excited about. Can't wait to see it in the flesh. Can't wait to try it out. That is going to come kind of soon. Yeah, we're both really excited to see it come out. So definitely take a look for that. There's going to be 100 spots available. It's going to be $400 to buy. We'll be talking about that as soon as it goes into group buy. But I'm hoping we get in on those raffle spots, or I'm hoping at least one of us does, so we can try this out.
If I don't get in on the Tinned raffle, it might be the first time you see me cry on stream, Jay. That's what I'm going with here. That's what I'm going with. I am really, really excited for that one. All right, guys, let's head back over to the Q&A section. A couple questions already rolling in, but of course you guys can start asking them now as well. Make sure to get those in if you have some questions. Use the @TopClack tag. And yeah, looks like Chuleta starting us off this week. It's asking Cahal versus Clarabelle. What is your choice of one premium 40s for the summer?
Oh, this is really tough. Do you have any thoughts first, Brian? While I'm thinking.
Cahal versus Clarabelle. Hold on, I need to bring up the Cahal again. I don't really remember it very well.
Kajal is the 40% from Wallet Burner with.
I remember what it looks like. I just don't remember the rest of the specs. Sorry, give me a second. Okay, so that's the one that has the huge knob. That's right. Yeah.
Yes, it's got a really huge knob.
Oh, man, that's tough. I think it looks really good. I think I like the Cahal more than the Clarabelle. However, aren't there other 40s that should be considered for the
Elongate?
The Elongate, actually, I think is probably my favorite out of those three. Isn't that opening up very soon on Project Keyboard?
I'm not sure of the dates, but I know Clarabelle opens on the 15th because I was looking at it yesterday, which would be my pick, I think, just because it's got the cute little cow logo on it and the left-hand numpad, and I think it's going to be a really good board. So my choice would be for the Clarabelle from those two particular ones. I do think the Elongate will do really well as well. I've been looking forward to that for a while, so I think Clarabelle and Elongate are definitely on my buy list.
Yeah, I would say that none of them are really for me. I'm definitely not the target audience for any of them. But if I had to pick one, I think I'd go with the Elongate, followed by the Cahal, and then the Clarabelle. Not that I dislike the Clarabelle or anything, but I'm very finicky and picky with 40s because I just don't really use them. Rob27 Shred is asking, got a serious and weird flex PCB coming in soon. What's a weird flex PCB?
I assume it means with the cuts.
Really want to take advantage of the flex the PCB allows. Do you think the full palm plate will be flexible enough to take advantage of it, or should I turn it into a half plate? Well, I think by default I'll start by saying that half plates should always be flexier than full plates, provided the same material, obviously. So like a palm half plate is always going to be flexier than a palm full plate. With that said, I will say that palm, especially at 1.5 millimeter on the Sirius, is a pretty flexible plate. It honestly is. It's a very, very kind of bendy material. So I think that you'll probably get a decent amount of flex with the weird flex PCB. Is the weird flex PCB like a specific type of PCB, or is it just the flex slot cuts?
I think it's just flex slot cuts. I don't know which specific PCB it is, but yeah. I mean, what I would probably do is I would probably do a dry build, so I wouldn't solder it and put everything together with these switches and everything. I'd put that in the board. I'd have a bit of a type around on it, see how it felt. If I didn't think that was giving me enough flex, then I would then cut the alpha cluster out, and that's probably the best way of doing it. Or you could solder the mods in and not solder the other and then get Dremel, but that'd be really dicey, and I would not advise doing it that way. But yeah, I would try doing a dry build first without soldering it, test it out, see what you thought of the flex, and then get the plate cut or order a second plate and try that out as well.
Yeah, people have been pretty happy with the Sirius, so I doubt you'll be too disappointed in it, honestly. Yoni Wolf is asking, what would you think of the GMK set inspired by Neil deGrasse Tyson's documentary Cosmos? What would you think of a GMK set inspired by that?
It depends on what it looks like. Completely depends on what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. For me, I have to see a set. Otherwise, I don't really entirely know what it's going to look like in my mind's eye because colors. NR Bigfoot is asking, imagine thinking both Top Clack won't automatically get a group buy spot for Tinned. Hey, man. You never know. You never know.
It doesn't sound like it doesn't always work like that.
It doesn't, yeah.
We don't get.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Just because we're Top Clack doesn't necessarily mean we get preferential treatment. With that said, I hope we do get preferential treatment because I want a Tinned.
Maybe. We'll see.
Oh, man. Alright, yeah, jokes aside, Smudge RL is asking, favorite keycap set from this stream? Interesting question. Favorite keycap set from this stream?
Good question, yeah. This is difficult for me because I like what EBPT Ivory stands for. I really like the amount of work that Max Surf has put into Cat Refined.
It's got to be cat refined for me.
It's so difficult. That's a really difficult question to answer. There's a few good key sets today. Yeah, I'm going to play it safe as well and go with cat refined out of the whole lot that we talked about today, just because of the sheer amount of work that Max Surf has put into it.
Yeah, cat refined is more than just a key set. I feel like with what he's trying to do, with the amount of work and the effort that he put in there, I think that cat refined is going to be more of a statement, and I think that it's going to do very, very well. And it goes to show you that a key set could be potentially very amazing, regardless of just being black and white.
Yeah, absolutely.
Heck yes. Someone's saying over Moto. Yeah, I mean, Modern Dolch is a cool set, don't get me wrong, but I mean, it's not new. We've had Modern Dolch already.
Yeah, I already have it. I mean, it's on here. This is Modern Dolch.
Yeah, I've already bought it, owned it, sold it, used it. It's fine. It's a nice set, and I might pick up another set on this run. Who knows? And it's going to do really well. But Refined is a more interesting set to me than Moto, just because I've already experienced Moto. Cool Kids is really fun too, but it's not really for me. Let's see, Cat Explosion I'll probably pick up. Ivory, obviously a great cause, but Refined, I just really like Refined. Such a good set, man. Really excited for it. All right, Scott Water is asking, or saying rather, do not forget about the Adderley as well. Yeah, the Adderley, another premium 40% option. 45 ATS, 1800 mini. People also saying, yeah.
Lots of choices. Lots of choices.
Lots of nicer and higher end sub 60% boards these days. Julieta says, I ask because I'm struggling to make a choice, guys. Oh, okay. So he.
I would sleep on your decisions and ask yourself, how would your life be better with each board? And see the strongest answer.
Yeah, I mean, so he's choosing between the Clarabelle and the Cahal. I mean, I think a lot of it will come back down to the Numpad, right? Because I mean, if you feel like you're going to really benefit from a Numpad, then obviously the Clarabelle is the answer. But if you think a knob is going to be a lot more beneficial to you, maybe the Cahal is going to be it.
Yeah, which will fit best into your work.
The reason I don't care as much about the Clarabelle is mainly because a board of that size should have the layout that I want if I'm going to be using it. Like, I don't mean for everyone, obviously. I mean for just me. But, like, a board that has that many keys and is that size might as well be a 60%, because I'm not going to benefit from the Numpad. I use the Numro just fine in a 60%. So, to me, a 60% is a more compact and a more efficient footprint than something like the Clarabelle, because the Clarabelle is just so long.
Ooh, very nice.
But, again, that's just me. Mr. Petrov asking, can both give your perspectives on sandwich mount versus top mount, and does your view depend on plate material, e.g. metal versus plastic versus carbon fiber, etc.? Alright, so our perspectives on sandwich versus top mount. You want to start, Jay?
Yeah, sure. I think it entirely depends on the board as well as the plate material. I think the design of the board heavily plays into what materials work well and don't work well with that particular board and everything else. I know, Mr. Petrov, we were talking before about how you'd taken the Space 65 and you'd taken the screws out of the plate and it was still working really well. So I think it more depends on the board, not just the plate material. I think it'd be very difficult to isolate to just one part. That being said, generally I prefer top mount to sandwich mount. I think that sandwich mount, if it's surrounding all four sides of the plate, can just end up being a little bit too firm, especially with tougher plates like brass and things like that. But again, it all depends on what you do with gaskets, how much space you give it, and there's so many different things that you can do with it. So I think it all has to be taken into consideration as a whole. I wouldn't turn down a sandwich mount board just because it was sandwich mount, for example. It all depends on the whole, the whole collaboration altogether.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think I could have said it any better myself. So I'm not even going to try, because if I did, I would just reword that. But yeah, that's by and large how I feel as well. I don't buy boards necessarily based on mounting style. I'm never going to not buy a sandwich board that I like because it's sandwich. For example, generally speaking, I think top is preferential over sandwich, but again, it's going to a lot of it's going to be determined by the rest of the board, the configurations you go through, the rest of the design. Are there you didn't mention any gaskets, obviously, so gasket can play a role into that too. You can still have a sandwich mount or top mount board that has O-rings or some kind of gasket format as well. I don't think it's quite as simple maybe as just a sandwich versus top, and obviously the materials play into it as well. This is why I try to judge keyboards as a whole, like once they're built versus like just particular parts of that keyboard, because even you can have two boards that have the same thickness, same material plate that are going to feel wildly different.
Oh, for sure.
Just because they're different boards. Depleted Vespian asking, when it comes to the printing, die subbing, etc., on keycaps, what is your favorite font? That's a good question too.
I mean, I think it depends, and I'm going to be really woolly on this one. I'm sorry, Depleted Vespian, because this probably isn't the answer you're looking for. I can't give you a straight answer because it all depends on the rest of the set. Very much like the previous question, it all has to be taken into consideration together. So the design of the keycap set, the colors used, everything else, the font, all of that kind of rolled into one has to be taken into consideration before you can say whether it works and gels together or whether it doesn't. I think there's certain sets that don't work particularly well in GMK but work really well in SA. And I think the same goes the other way around. For example, if you took nuclear data, it works really well in SA. I don't think it'd look particularly good in GMK. But then, there's all sorts of different ways of looking at it, and font is just one of the small aspects of design that can really change things around. I like things that are different though, and I like things that try something new. So whether a font's good or bad, probably need to take it into contextual of the whole keycap set itself, and all of the other design choices that make that up. But there's nothing wrong with experimenting.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't really know a whole lot about fonts. I got to be totally honest. It's not something I care a whole lot about. As long as I can see the letter and it looks good to me and I understand it, that's really good enough for me. What does GMK use? Is it Helvetica?
It's not, right? I think it's not Helvetica. No, I can't remember what it's called now. Garamond is what they use on SP.
Yeah, see, I know so little about the fonts. A lot of that's kind of just wasted on me, to be totally honest. So, I mean, whatever GMK uses is totally fine. Whatever a lot of the sets generally use, I think, is more or less fine. But I would like to see people get more creative with it. I think that it's maybe a little, I don't know, lost in our community. People don't really get very creative with the font. I say that, but then EnjoyPBT, Cool Kids launched and stuff. But realistically speaking, I think people could probably try some more things in all seriousness, and especially with PBT, where the ramifications aren't really too bad because it's just ISUB anyways. So yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see people try out some more fonts, specifically on DICE-Up PBT caps. Frequency OL is asking, has anyone made a Firefly TV show based keycap set? Didn't you say SA Outlander was Firefly themed, Jay?
Yes.
Okay. So,
but it's not official. It's inspired by Firefly. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. As far as an actual Firefly themed keycap set, there isn't an officially licensed one that I'm aware of, and there aren't very many unofficial ones that I'm aware of either. Obviously, we checked out SA Outlander a few weeks back in interest check. I don't think a Firefly set is run yet.
No, Outlander hasn't run just yet. No.
I mean, there was GMK Firefly, but that wasn't actually based on Firefly the show. That was other stuff. Yeah, interesting. I mean, we'll probably see one. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a cherry profile, at least, Firefly set in the near future.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me either. I mean, it's still a massive thing, isn't it? Firefly.
Yeah.
I need to rewatch all that now. Now we're talking about it. It makes me want to rewatch the series.
All right, moving on. Melodid is asking, any idea on whether or not the Cat Refined Legends will be available for other sets later?
It's a question you have to ask Max Surfy, but when I was reading the interest check, he did say he wouldn't give his render files out for other people to use, so I don't know what that means, whether it means that the fonts will be available for other people to use on the sets or not. I don't know. you'd have to reach out to Max Surf and ask him. It's his work. It's his choice.
Yep. Always good to talk to the people at the source. Usually best to get the information that way when you can. Smudge RL is asking if I can't get into the KBD 8X, any suggestions for TKLs / boards bigger than 60%? That's a really vague question.
Jane CE? Jane V2?
That's why the question is vague. Yeah. Yes, so suggestions for TKLs or boards larger than 60%. That's a whole world of boards.
60%. I mean, well, it is because you've got 660, you've got 65%, you've got TKLs, you've got full
75.
size, you've got 75s. Yeah, you know, there is 1,000 boards that you could fit into that kind of category.
There's like even stuff like the Ergo Docks. Like you could make a case for like the Ergo Docks being a 60%, or like something. Like it's kind of a. If you have like more stipulations, like if you have more things that you require, I think we can get that question a little bit more detailed. And then maybe again, a question like that is probably going to be better for asking in our official Discord link below. Because that might require a little bit more talking, a little bit more time, a little bit more effort, searching, and trying to figure out what's actually going to be best for you. Because just being like, recommend me a 60%, or recommend me a TKL, or whatever, like, it's hard to answer that question without knowing more about you and what you prefer. Because I don't want to recommend something to you that you're going to wind up hating, because then it's just a waste of everyone's time, right? So ask around in the Discord, and you're more than welcome to PM myself or Jay, and we can always help you out. But yeah, a little difficult to answer that question on stream, as it's a bit vague. Stash subs at tier 1 for 6 months in a row. Thank you so much, Stash. Glad to have you around, man.
Legend.
Absolute legend is right. Lunar Sama asking, speaking of Cat Refined and Cat Milkshake released out in the wild, do you think the manufacturer can maintain that level of QA and accuracy with all that Sorry, hold on, chat's moving. With all that pixel-perfect alignment and spacing?
I mean, I've not seen Cat Milkshake in hand yet, so... And I know some people have got it. I've not got a set in front of me to justify on yet. And I know there's a ton of other cat sets running. I think the more practice they get, the better they'll get with it. I do think that Cat Refined is very, very specific in what it needs to be, and the Max Surf will have no room for tolerance errors or anything like that. Whether they can achieve that or not, I don't know. I'd like to think and err on the side of that they can, but good. It's always an idea to be cautious with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, right? Like at the end of the day, it's still relatively a new thing. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see, but we can hope, right? We can certainly hope. Chuletas is asking, fave work from home gadget outside your daily keyboard, boys. Work from home gadget.
I mean,
I don't really have so I'm furloughed right now, so I'm not technically working. My place of work is temporarily closed down. So I'm not working from home per se in the same sense that a lot of other people are. So with that in mind, I don't really have like a work from home gadget.
Yeah, I mean it depends on what you mean by gadget. If you mean kind of like plaything, I've got my my little copper spin ball thing. So if this goes on your desk on a rubber thing, and then it spins and it kind of has like a mesmerizing effect. I use that an awful lot. It helps me relax. Rubik's Cube as well. I like to play around with it. They're just kind of like desk toys. Gadgets, not so much lately.
Yeah, I don't know about gadgets per se. I mean, I have as far as like fidget stuff, I have a Rama spinner from the original run years ago with an upgraded bearing in it. I play around with that like fairly often, not like super often, but I don't know. I have a Zyko with an EnjoyPBT. I think this is EnjoyPBT thinking cap on it. I just press that every now and then. I don't know. I don't really have a whole lot of like gadgets that I really use though, aside from just all the obvious like computer componentry.
Yeah.
And peripherals.
I mean, yeah. iPads, iPhone, they get a lot. My Apple Watch gets a lot of use. Yeah, it's difficult to answer, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I don't think I have much of anything else. I1A is asking Nines or Boneyard. So GMK Nines versus GMK Boneyard. I think both sets honestly look pretty good. And I have owned and used Nines, and I thought it was nice. But I think I like Boneyard a little bit more.
I think Boneyard's a little bit lighter, so this is Nines. It's quite dark. Yeah, I mean, Nines is nice. I do like it a lot. But I think I'd probably pick Boneyard over it long term.
Yeah. Agreed. Today has also says, actually, did you guys cover the EC Ortho board that popped up in Keycap? Yeah, we covered that earlier. I think that was one of our first topics, actually.
Yeah, third topic, I think it was. Yeah,
as someone that has always been a fan of the electrocapacitive switches, I'm very much looking forward to seeing that board. It's, you know, we almost never really see it kind of break into the custom space. So whenever we do, I'm always on board, even if it's not, you know, my ideal style or color or layout or etc. All right, looks like we're actually caught up on questions. Depleted Vespine doesn't tag us, but he says KVM switches. Anyone? I'm not sure what those are.
Not sure.
So I can't comment on that.
I don't think I think it's like a gadget. I think.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think it's so that you can use like the same keyboard and mouse to multiple PCs, and you can flick it between the
two. Oh yeah, it's kind of funny. I think I used to have one of these actually. Yeah. Okay. KVM switch. Yeah. Okay. Alright, guys. Well, do you have any more questions for us, guys, before we head out? It's looking like a relatively short show today, which is okay, because obviously Jay needs to get to sleep. But,
I do, yeah.
But I'd be remiss if we didn't, you know, at least poke around for another question or two.
Yeah.
Richat is asking, is there a down/upside on living in EU/NA/Asia regarding hands-on Keeb stuff? Or regarding getting hands-on Keeb stuff?
It's harder if you're not in North America. Like North America has it really easy.
It's just easiest here. It really is in America.
Multiple vendors. I mean, there's more vendors in like 3 or 4 states than there is in the whole of the EU. Like 10 in the EU, and there's probably 35 in the US. It's huge. It's crazy. The community is also much bigger in the US as well, so things sell easier, which means that the US layouts are more often catered to than the EU ones. More group buys are run from the US, which means a lot of boards are easier to get a hold of as well. Some people don't like shipping outside of the US, which makes it difficult. I think Asia's not too bad. China has a very, very active keyboard scene, as does Japan.
So does Korea.
And they're very, and so does Korea, and they're very, very different to what we have over here in the Western world. They're completely crazy. Like Japan is nearly all split boards. It's absolutely crazy. They do some really, really cool stuff out there. China has some really great takes on keyboards and does some cool designs, some wacky stuff. And I wish we saw more of that over here. I really do. So I think there's pros and cons, but it's definitely harder outside of North America for what we see as the Western side of keyboards.
Yeah, that's just a fact. That's just the way it is too.
Not everything is made in China. Avicity says. We have people like Salvan in the EU that are machining stuff, and Pitoko, who is machining stuff in the US, and Nobau, who is machining stuff in the US, and Geekle, and so it's not everything is made in China. Not everything. GMK, for example, is made in the EU as well, and Signature Plastics is made just up the road from Brian in Washington.
Yeah, just up the road, about a 6-hour drive.
It's not a 6-hour drive; it's 90 minutes. I looked it up when I was over there because I was going to try and get you to take me to them. But it was it's pretty close. It's like 90 minutes away from you.
No, it's longer than that. Hold on.
No, I'm sure I checked it.
Hold on, I'm gonna Google Maps this.
Maybe it was 3 hours. It wasn't 6.
No, 6 is probably an exaggeration, but I don't think it's 90 minutes because it takes 90 minutes for me to get to Seattle, and this is so far past Seattle. All right. Wait, what the heck? Why can I not navigate here?
So 1 hour 46 minutes from Seattle, and that takes you from. That's from the airport. It's putting you right by the airport.
Okay.
It's so
from my home to Signature Plastics, it's a little under 3 hours. That's not really accounting for traffic, obviously, but
Sure.
yeah, not too bad. It's definitely, you know, a day trip sort of affair. But yeah, all right. It's already making fun of me driving slowly. I'll drive slowly.
Brian's alright at a drive. He was fine.
I mean, I don't drive nearly as fast as I used to because I used to get a lot of speeding tickets. Well, not really a lot, but I've had a few speeding tickets. But I drive fairly normally now. Like I drive the speed limit, maybe like a few over. You know, I don't really do much else these days.
He's a good boy, guys. He's a good boy.
I just don't really care. Like, speeding's fun when you're, like, a kid. Like, I mean, let's be honest, it is. Like, when you're, you know, 18, 19, 20, and, like, you know, you got your first car, and it's, like, a lot of power, and, like, you're not really used to it. It's, you know, it's a fun thing. We've all been there.
Sure, yeah. I wouldn't disagree.
Smudge is asking if Moto should be his first GMK set, or are there better options right now? That's the thing. It's all GMK. I mean, despite any like actual like production issues, like they're all GMK sets, right? It's just a matter of what colors you like.
Yeah, and whether you want it now or whether you want to wait 6 months, that's the other thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can get Moto now on the second-hand market. You might pay a little bit more than the group buy price for it, but you can get it now on the second-hand market price.
That's definitely true. Yeah, I mean, if you like the colors of it, then yeah, sure. If there's a set that you like the colors of more, maybe you go for that one.
Yeah, self-shill mode on. Wait till tomorrow, and buy GMK Midnight Rainbow maybe.
Wow.
Shill mode off. There we go.
You want to shill the set that's like not going to sell that well.
It'll sell fine.
It'll sell fine. It won't sell like amazingly, but it'll sell fine.
It was never intended to.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm not taking a cut out of it anyway, so I can shill it all I want, but it's completely royalty free as Midnight Rainbow. So.
Oh, is it?
yeah. I'm not taking any cut out of it at all.
All right. Well, there you go. Shill for zero monetary gain. The J
exactly
way.
Right. I mean, it's not really shilling, is it? It's just yeah.
The J shill. It's classic. No Chance RPG is asking if there's been any update to Input Club's analog switches. So they're as of a few weeks ago, they're currently available, or at least one of the varieties is, on Kono's store right now. So you can actually buy the switches right now. But I don't think the Keystone board that they're meant to go with is actually available yet. They're still working on it. It hasn't actually shipped yet. The Kickstarter, I believe, is how they launched it. But that was, gosh, what, almost 2 years ago, I think now at this point? A year and a half, maybe? A little bit more, maybe? Yeah,
it was before so it must be in 8 years.
It was before you, yeah, so it's over a year and a half, obviously, but, you know, it's a big project, and if it goes over really well, then I think it's going to go really well, and it's going to open up a lot of doors to the future in our community, and I'm really looking forward to it. So, as far as, like, more news, though, or any updates, I don't think, as far as what we know, it's just the same as what everyone else knows. They have the switches on their store now, and hopefully the board's coming soon. But it seems like, obviously, if the switches are in stock now, that leads me to believe that the switches have, you know, fully been completed. So, you know, maybe they're just waiting on 1 or 2 last-minute parts on the keyboard. Maybe the PCB is still in the works. We don't really know. I haven't actually asked, to be totally honest, but I could. Definitely could ask. We can always find out. Hopefully. Sometimes it's hard getting in touch with Andrew, honestly. He's a very busy man.
He is very, very busy, yeah.
Yeah, and with that in mind, I think that's a good time to call it quits for today. We've caught up on the Q&A, guys, and we've made a pretty good time as well, just over that 2-hour mark. How do you guys feel about these shows lately, guys, now that we've been actually hitting our 2-hour time mark? Are you guys in favor of this? You guys like the shorter shows? Or maybe you're a fan of the ridiculous 3 and 4 hour shows where we just talk about so many things for way too long.
They're killer, yeah.
They're killer.
Nice
and tight.
You have to remember, guys, it's 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. when I do these shows. So.
Yeah. We try to do it, you know, for Jay as well, because, you know, he gets up way earlier than he needs to. Nice and tight, less waffling, says Mr. Petrov. Good stream, says Depleted Vespine. They're nice, says Taj. Okay. either is good, says Melodit. As long as Jay isn't getting exhausted, it's all good. Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'm always exhausted. Always exhausted lately. Yeah. Oh, Heine's in chat as well. Heine, when HBCP extras, when, please?
Oh, man. I've been, I had the HBCP build stream the other day on Tuesday, I believe it was. So I've been using it since then, and man, this board is so lovely. So freaking lovely, man. Alright, guys. Well, that is our time to go. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this week's episode as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Upcoming build streams or any other streams in the works? Jay, what do you got?
Yeah, so Sunday we're going to be looking at 2 boards, opposite ends of the spectrum. I'm going to have my NK65 V2 Aluminium Edition that I'm going to have a look at. I'm not going to build that though, just going to take a look at it. And also, other end of the spectrum, I've got my Iron 165 FE, my $900 iron board. I did unbox it on my Instagram earlier on today, just because I was really excited to see it. It's right at the side of me here. It's in this big case. It's super duper heavy. I'm really excited to build that. So yeah, check that out Sunday, usual time, 12 noon PST, 3 p.m. EST, or 8 p.m. UK time, right here on Twitch.
Yes, absolutely. And I have some build streams upcoming as well. So like Jay, I too was gifted an NK65 V2 by the wonderful Mike over at Novelties, and I've been really enjoying it lately, actually. So I'm going to be kind of breaking it down and doing some testing with some various switches and the sort. So make sure to come check it out. I might do it tomorrow. It might actually be as early as tomorrow. But it might be a few days out as well, depending on you know, what I have lubed up, what I still need to lube, and what I'm planning on for that stream. So we got a couple new switches to check out. We have some of the new Kale Silent switches. We have some of the new Novelties Blueberry switches. We have some of the new TTC Gold Pink switches, and some other ones I'm forgetting as well. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to have a fun little kind of science-y type stream where I take a look at the NK65 and all the goodies that come with that, and as well as trying a variety of switches and keycaps with that. It's going to be a really good time, and I do have a full LZ Iron rebuild coming soon too, so multiple things on the horizon, and should be pretty awesome, so look forward to that.
Iron's
LZ Iron is quite a board. It's quite a board.
Something.
It's something. So yeah, look forward to that. That's going to be a really fun one as well, so keep your eyes open for those guys. Of course, I'll be posting in the Discord channel, the announcements channel, rather, of the official Discord link below beforehand, so you can always be up to date on when we're going live on that kind of stuff. And yeah, any closing thoughts for today, Jay? I know the world's kind of in chaos right now, and it's kind of, I know I talked about it a little bit on my build stream recently, and it's kind of been affecting my mental a little bit. I gotta be honest. I gotta be transparent with you guys. You know, I'm not in an amazing mindset right now, and a lot of it is just because of a lot of the shit that's going on in the world right now, and it's kind of hard to stay focused. But keyboards, you know, it's a shining light, man. This community is a ray.
It is. Absolutely agree. I think the best thing we can do is just be good to each other. So just keep that in mind, guys. Be good to each other. Shy away from negativity. Be positive, and let's try and build on that constructively. And yeah, we'll be there for you whenever we can. I'll be here on Sunday if you guys just want to fancy a nice, chill, easy stream. Brian might be here tomorrow, or maybe not. If not, we'll definitely be in the Discord. So just feel free to reach out to us.
Yes, absolutely. All right. And Iwane, being the legend that he is, he's reminding me to raid someone, because I'm really trying to get in that habit. I know I'm like 50-50 on it. Like sometimes I forget, sometimes I do the raid. But I am trying to get better about actually raiding, because I do want to try to start supporting all the other streamers in our community more than we already do. So yeah,
Disco Crocodile's streaming right now as well, so
Disco
he could be a good choice.
Yeah. That's a good choice. Heinebush says raid Keone. I don't even know who Keone is.
Not sure, but Disco Crocodile's up there. So
Keone, okay. Well, yeah, Disco Crocodile is there as well. They both have roughly the same amount of viewers at the moment. I've never seen Keone build before, so we're going to raid Keone. We can raid Disco next time, perhaps. I've raided him before. Y'all are sleeping? Alright, well, I'm sorry, I don't know all the build streamers. There's a lot of keyboard streamers these days. It's hard to keep up with everyone's content, you know?
It is, yeah.
It certainly is. Alright, guys, well, get ready for this raid. We're going to go ahead and queue up this raid as we head out. So thank you guys so much for watching the stream today. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. And let's get ready for this raid, guys.
Yeah, go show Keone some love, guys.
Wait, what'd you say?
Go show Keone some love.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. Of course. Oh my god. Why is this taking so long to load for me? I think I'm having internet issues, which is probably good that it's happening at the end of the stream. Keone. Alright, here we go. Makers and crafting. There we go. Bam. Queuing up this raid. Alright, guys. Well, until next time, just know that we love you, and we love keyboards as well. Alright. Is this raid ready? We are. We are totally ready. Alright. I'm going to roll this outro and we're going to raid.